Chapter 1040. This child is actually quite pitiful, Jessica sighed. She's different from others. She's the adopted daughter of a big family. She wasn't treated well since she was a child. Later, her adoptive father found out that she had a good voice, so he trained her to be a singer. Jessica reached out and gently touched Shun Chen's hair. But she was bullied by her family since she was a child. She has a weak personality. In order for her to become a qualified star, her family brainwashed her, instilled her the idea that she's different. Li Fan seemed to understand something. Well, because of this, she has never had any friend around her. Even I, who have known her for almost 7 years, almost abandoned her several times. Then why did you stay? Because every time I leave, I think about it. If I leave too, who will take care of her? Jessica looked at Shun Chun. I've taken care of her for 7 years. She's still a child after all. But ever since she met you, she seems to have changed a little. Li Fan, although I don't know who you are, you're really amazing. Let's talk about communication. Li Fan hurriedly explained. There are too few people around her. She needs more communication. As her junior, I'll definitely help her. I hope you can help her. Now that she has lost her voice, the family is ready to give up on her. Jessica's face was gloomy. The family has been squeezing her remaining value. When the day comes that she's no longer useful, I'm afraid they'll throw her aside like garbage. How can that be? Isn't she popular now? There are too many stars in China. What's the big deal about being popular? Shin has lost her voice and will soon be abandoned. She has a bad temper, so it's not suitable for her to go on a variety show. Can't she still act? Li Fan hurriedly asked. Speaking of which, it's awkward. She has acted in several films, whether it's a big production or a small one. All of them suffered huge losses. Bosma also paid for her to act in a film, but he ended up losing money. Now, Shun has a nickname, the box office poison. Li Fan couldn't help with this. After all, singing is her talent. Jessica couldn't help but reminisce. The first time I heard her sing, I was moved by her. I even believe that she was born to sing. It's a pity that God didn't give her more chances and even took back this right. Isn't there a magic association in England that can cure her throat with magic? What magic association? I don't even know what's in that letter. Jessica laughed. You're already a university student, yet you still believe in such illusory things. I don't want to believe it either, but the world is big and full of wonders. As Li Fan spoke, he glanced out the window. On the roof of a building in the distance stood a man in a tuxedo, leaning on a cane. Jessica looked over curiously, but she did not see anything. Li Fan, what are you looking at? It's nothing. Li Fan turned his head. So, you're giving up the search for the sorcerer and returning home tomorrow? Yes, it's been hard on you these 2 days. You'll be free tomorrow. I've already transferred the fee to your account. To be honest, with your strength, this price is really not expensive. Li Fan saved Shun from Bosma, so Jessica had always been grateful to Li Fan. I'm an expert. I'm honest. Li Fan patted his chest. After this, we're going back to the hotel to rest, right? Yes. If that's the case, no one will leave the room tonight. Li Fan reminded Jessica, no matter what you hear, stay in the room. No one is allowed to leave the room until the next morning, understand? Then what about dinner? Buy some food and go back to eat. Li Fan and the others stayed in a presidential suite. Shin slept in the inner room, while Jessica and Li Fan slept in the 2 outer rooms. We're returning home tomorrow. There shouldn't be any danger, right? Jessica was puzzled. Just listen to me. Li Fan didn't explain much. He only cared about what Lawrence said before. Tonight, they will definitely come to kill Shin. Then I'll listen to your arrangements. Li Fan was responsible for all the security. As long as he didn't go overboard, Jessica would definitely obediently follow his instructions. But at night, Shun was the first to be unhappy. Why? I still want to go out to see Big Ben. Shin desperately pulled the door handle. Quickly let me out. It's not easy to be free. No, you're not allowed to go anywhere tonight. Li Fan stood in front of the window, crossed his arms, and looked down. The door was locked by him with true chi. Even with the key, it couldn't be opened. Bastard, why are you restricting my freedom? I asked you to come here to protect me. Not to lock me up. Shin Shun began to be willful again. I want to go out and play. Go out and play. Do you want to play? But do you want to die? Li Fan turned his head and coldly looked at Shun Chun. Since you came to England, the Association of Mages has attacked you twice. If it weren't for me, you would have been dead. Attacked twice? When did this happen? Are you talking nonsense? Shun Chin didn't believe it. If I let you see me so casually, how could it be called the Association of Mages? Li Fan was too lazy to explain. I won't harm you. Just stay here obediently. No, I must go out, Shun Chin angrily said. Then you can try. Li Fan smiled. I'm going to take a shower first. You slowly torment yourself. Bastard, Shun Chin angrily rolled her eyes. She went to beg Jessica again. Jessica, let me go out. No, I can't open the door that Li Fan locked. Jessica expressed that she couldn't help. You're all annoying. Shin Shun could only bitterly return to the room. When Li Fan came out, he found Jessica sitting on the sofa with a pale face. What's wrong? Did something happen? Shun is missing. Li Fan glanced at the door. It was closed, and there were no signs of damage. Shun Chin's room was empty, but the window was open. Li Fan leaned over the window and saw that the window was tied with a rope-like bedsheet. This girl is too bold. Li Fan couldn't help but want to curse. Fortunately, it was only the third floor. Otherwise, if she wasn't careful, wouldn't she fall and become disabled? What should we do? Call the police. Jessica was really panicking. This was England. How could they find someone if they weren't familiar with the place? Leave it to me. She shouldn't have gone far. Chapter 1041. Shin Shin took her phone and followed the map on the screen. Following some remote paths, she came to a deserted alley in London. Shin Shin stood at the entrance of the alley, looking at the six-pointed star symbol on the wall. She seemed to be familiar with the place. She stretched out her hand and drew along the six-pointed star. The wall suddenly seemed to come alive. The bricks on the top separated into two sides, revealing the true face of the Lushan mountain inside. This place looked like a hidden bar. After the walls parted, a door with a picture of wine appeared. Shin Shun stretched out her hand, wanting to open the door of the bar. But at this moment, a hand suddenly grabbed her wrist. You're not sleeping at this late hour, but coming out to drink? Li Fan looked at Shun Shun with a smile. Big shot, Shun. You're really in a good mood. What are you doing here? When Shun Shun saw Li Fan, she couldn't tell whether it was surprise or fear in her eyes. What? I'm not welcome here. Li Fan pointed to the earphone on his ear. See, I'm your bodyguard now. I have to protect you 24/7. Otherwise, do you think I'll care about you? Humph, you've been paid. Shun Shun curled her lips. Don't you claim to be China's top bodyguard? If you can't protect me, you'll ruin your reputation. I'm a top bodyguard, and this is a title I won, not a self-proclaimed one. Li Fan's forehead was covered with cold sweat. Who cares? In short, don't stop me. This is a place I must come to. Then I'll accompany you. You're so annoying, can't you go back? I don't want you to die. Li Fan reminded. For my honor, I have to protect you. Humph, come if you want. I'm not afraid of you. Shin Shin rolled her eyes. Anyway, if you're attacked by magic, it has nothing to do with me. At that time, let them turn you into a sheep. No, turn you into a dog. A pig. You're opening an animal world. Li Fan laughed and patted Shin Shin's back. Let's go. Whether it's a dragon's pool or a tiger's den, I have to go in and take a look. This place is not a dragon's pool or a tiger's den. Shun Shun led Li Fan, pushed open the door of the hotel, and walked down the stairs. This is a place where dark magi gather. Shun Shun said, this place is filled with black magic. Black magic? Li Fan laughed. White magic. I have a group of white magicians around me. I'll introduce them to you later. So powerful? Yes. Li Fan narrowed his eyes. I can tell that you're talking nonsense. Shun Shun lowered his voice. But this is indeed a place where dark magi gather. Don't make too much noise. There were oddly shaped fireplaces hanging on the surrounding walls. As Li Fan and the others walked, they lit up one by one. No need for Shun Shun to say it. Li Fan already felt a burst of ill intent. There seemed to be someone not to be trifled with hiding in the depths. Why would Shin come to such a place? And from the looks of it, it didn't seem to be her first time here. The stairs seemed to have been walking for a year before they finally arrived at the hall below. There were a few wooden tables in the hall, and next to them was a bar. There were not many guests inside. Everyone covered their faces with a cloak, and their appearance couldn't be seen clearly. The bartender at the bar also wore a mask full of mystery. These people were whispering. After Li Fan and the others came in, everyone's eyes immediately fell on them. Li Fan could feel that these people seemed to be looking at Shin. Private room number 3. Shin pulled Li Fan tightly and said to the bartender. The bartender didn't say anything. He just took out a simple copper key and handed it to Shin. Shin took it and pulled Li Fan to the door of the bathroom. Li Fan walked over first, opened the door of the bathroom, and checked it. There was only an ordinary bathroom inside, nothing special. But Shin tugged at him, shook his head at him, and asked Li Fan to stand aside. Shin inserted the key into the bathroom's keyhole and then opened the door again. The room inside changed from a toilet to a tea room. What the fuck? Li Fan was a little surprised. Spatial magic again? The United Kingdom was really interesting. Li Fan and Shin walked in. There was no one in the tea room, only a cup of hot English tea on the table. It doesn't seem to be your first time here, right? Li Fan looked at Shin sitting in front of the chair and immediately questioned. I have never been to UK. Shin hurriedly explained. This bar? I encountered it when I was in China, but it only appeared once and then disappeared. Shin recalled that she was beaten and scolded by her adoptive father. She escaped from home and mistakenly entered this bar. It was here that a man who claimed to be a dark wizard promised her that she could be loved by her family. Shin agreed, and then she became famous because of her good singing. A dark wizard helped you fulfill your wish? Li Fan was a little puzzled. No matter how powerful the magic is, it can't make a person's voice sound good, right? Other than that, are there any other conditions? No, he only said that this wish can only last for 5 years. After 5 years, I must come to him again. I didn't take it seriously at the time, but now it seems that he didn't lie to me. I see. Li Fan nodded and then looked above. Sir, you've been watching the show for a long time. Isn't it time to come out? As expected of a martial artist from China, you're indeed very powerful. You can actually detect my presence so easily. There was a portrait of a man hanging on the wall. The man walked out of the painting and stood in front of them. The moment he came out, the man put on a black cloak and covered his face. After he walked out, he knelt down in front of Shin. Great son of God, you're finally back. I've waited for you for a long time. The throne of God is also looking forward to you. What the hell are you talking about? Shin frowned. I'm here to cure my throat. That's your voice of God. Mortals aren't worthy to listen to it. The man's face was full of worship. 5 years ago, I found you. I originally wanted you to awaken. Unexpectedly, the Magic Association found me. I had no choice but to interrupt the ceremony and leave that place. But now, the will of heaven has guided you back to my side. Friend, can you explain it more clearly? Li Fan sat there. Don't act like a Chinibyu, okay? Hee, tiny Chinese martial artist. How do you know the power of black magic? The cloaked man said arrogantly, this is the ancestor of our black magic, the reincarnation of the Son of God. To be able to witness the descent of the Son of God is your honor. Mortal. Chapter 1042. The cloaked man laughed out loud, but Shin glared at him. Are you done? Quickly fulfill my wish. God, as your servant, of course, I will fulfill your wish. The cloaked man's face was filled with excitement. Not only me, all of your slaves will immediately return to your side. With that said, the cloaked man suddenly took out a cane from behind him and knocked it on the ground. A ripple spread out, and the space of the tea room suddenly expanded. Door after door appeared in the surrounding space. The door was pushed open, and many figures wearing the same cloaks walked in and knelt in front of Shin. God, you are finally back. Great God, I can finally live to see you again. We await your guidance, God. All of them prostrated themselves in front of Shin. Shin was completely stunned. What is the situation? Shun Chen frowned, not knowing what to do. Although she was worshipped in China, she had never been worshipped like this before. This was obviously worshipping a god, right? You guys are mistaken. I am Shun Chen, a singer, not your god. Shun Chen explained. No, you are our god. I will awaken you now. You will understand everything. The cloaked man said, raised the cane in his hand, and pointed it at Shun Chen. Li Fan walked over and blocked in front of her, looking at the dark magicians in front of him. Sorry, I am paid. I cannot let you touch her. Get lost, ignorant Chinese martial artist. The cloaked man waved his cane, trying to pull Li Fan away. But Li Fan still stood there, not moving. The cloaked man was stunned for a moment. He waved his cane again, and the tea table beside him suddenly flew up, smashing towards Li Fan. Bang! Li Fan smashed the tea table with a palm, his expression unchanged. You magicians are really interesting. With such little strength, you want to act rashly in front of me? Take back the godchild. The cloaked man raised his cane and shouted. The dark wizard around him also took out their staffs and were ready to attack Li Fan together with their magic. But at this moment, the door to the room was suddenly pushed open, and one man after another in a suit came in. They waved their staffs and attacked a few dark wizards with magic. The remaining dark magi immediately retaliated, and both sides began to fight. Lawrence, who Leyland had met before, was also among them. He used fire magic to defeat a dark magus and walked over. As expected, this is a great harvest. Lawrence was all smiles. Not only did we capture the Son of God, we also captured all of you dark magi. I'm afraid I'm going to be promoted 3 ranks this time. Derpy was fighting with the other demon police officers. He glanced at Lawrence, but there was some concern in his eyes. Although Lawrence's strategy was flawless, for some reason, Derby was still a little worried. That's enough, Lawrence. You have no business here. A man in a black coat walked in. With a wave of his staff, he sent 3 dark wizards flying. This man was obviously very strong. Derpy knew this guy. His name was Orleans, a level 5 wizard who was only 1 step away from becoming an archmage. Orleans was now the vice president of the Magic Association and was in charge of the discipline of the magic world. This time, he was here to eliminate the Son of God. I warned you not to come here. Since you're here, die. Orleans raised his staff and aimed it at Shin Chun. His elemental life was an ice sprite. This little thing released countless ice crystals and attacked Shin Chun. Before Li Fan could do anything, the cloak man had already blocked in front of Shin Chun and lifted his cloak to block the ice crystals. Damn you, Orleans. I won't let you touch the god. Li Fan crossed his arms and watched the show from the side. He could see that Orleans' magic level was about the same as the cloaked man's. He didn't know why they started fighting, but he could watch a wonderful 3D movie from the front row. What? What the hell is going on? Shin Chun was very puzzled. Her beautiful eyes widened as she looked at the dazzling scene of these people fighting in front of her. Let them fight. We should go home. Li Fan was not interested in playing with them anymore. No, my throat is not healed yet. Shin Chun shook her head. Suddenly, the cloaked man roared. God, drink that cup of tea. Your throat will recover. Really? Shin Chen's eyes lit up, and she immediately walked toward the tea. Although the tea table had flown away, the cup of tea was still floating in the air as if it was waiting for someone. Don't go over there. Li Fan wanted to stop Shin Chun, but the 2 dark wizards released their magic at the same time and attacked Li Fan. Li Fan waved his crane's hand and slapped away the magic. Shin Chun had already raised the cup of tea. Almost all the dark wizards gave up on defense and attacked Li Fan together. Even Li Fan felt the pressure in the haste. He roared, and the Great War God popped out from his back and tried to grab Shin Chun. Don't drink it, Li Fan roared. I want to find my voice. However, Shin Chun had already drunk the tea into his stomach. The Great War God touched Shin Chun, but it was too late. A huge force flew out from Shin Chun's body and rushed in all directions. The Great War God's wrist was shattered by this force. Li Fan was also blown away and looked at Shin Chun, who was slowly floating in the air. Not good. Orleans frowned and released a magic barrier to block the magic that was rushing in all directions. The cloaked man and the other dark wizards were the same, kneeling on the ground and looking at Shun Shun, who was floating in the air with tears in his eyes. Wizards, listen to my command. Attack that devil. Orlons raised his scepter and released his strongest spell, attacking Shun Shun together with his companions. Shun Shun suddenly opened his eyes, stretched out a finger, and shattered these magic spells. Foolish mortals, you want to fight me? Shun Shun let out a muffled voice, ants laughable. With a wave of Shun Chen's hand, these magicians were sent flying and crashed into the surrounding walls. Li Fan frowned and looked at Shun Chun, who was floating in the air. Shun Chun. Mortal. Shun Chen's gaze fell on Li Fan. I have to thank you for protecting my body so many times. What do you want? I can grant you one wish. Wish? Then give Shun Chin back to me. Li Fan already felt something was wrong. Can you do it? That girl, she was only a vessel. Now that I have awakened, her soul is already dead. Shun Chin floated in the air and looked at Li Fan. Mortal, don't be foolish. Cherish your chance. I will ask you one last time, what do you want? Chapter 1043. I want your grandmother. Li Fan raised his eyebrows and looked at Shun Chun fiercely. If he wanted to take back Shun Chun, he would have to deal with this so-called God's child first. Foolish mortal, it seems like you want to go your own way. Shun Chun sighed, then die in regret. You want me to die just because you say so? Li Fan took a step forward. I'm afraid it won't be that easy. Kneel. Shun Chun looked at Li Fan and gave the order. Who will listen to you? Before Li Fan could finish his words, his knees suddenly sank and he knelt down uncontrollably. What's going on? Li Fan was shocked. His body seemed to have been ordered by Shun Chen's words. But Li Fan was not to be trifled with. He released his true chi and wrapped it around his body, forcefully taking control of his body. Oh! Shun Chen looked at Li Fan and was slightly surprised. Your resistance is not bad, as expected of a martial artist from China. A trace of hatred appeared in Shun Chen's eyes, as if he wanted to eat someone. Back then, the person who killed me was China's Shang Fong sword. But after so many years, I'm afraid the Shang Fong sword is no longer here. Just a loser, what's there to show off? Li Fan sneered. Courting death. Shun Chen stretched out her hand, and the cane in the cloaked man's hand immediately flew over and fell in her hand. A human-sized ice woman condensed and began to cast a spell at Li Fan. Li Fan's feet started to freeze and soon began to spread to his body. While Shun Chun was attacking Li Fan, Orlin suddenly used ice crystals to attack Shun Chun. Ant. Shun Chun scolded and released another ray of light from her cane. A huge ice spike rose from the ground and directly pierced through Orleans' body and pushed him up. More ice spikes pierced out from Orleans' body and dismembered him. Quickly retreat. Lawrence gave the order, and the people from the Magic Association gathered together and teleported away. Trying to run? No way. The remaining dark wizards continued to fight with them, while Lawrence and a few other mages fought back to bring up the rear. As for Li Fan, the frost had already frozen up to his shoulders. He stood there, still sneering. Demon, do you think you could trap me like this? Shin Shun, I will definitely get it back. You think you can do it? Die obediently. Shun Shen's cane released a more dazzling brilliance, and at this moment, Shun Shen's expression stagnated for a second. Lawrence grabbed Li Fan. Follow me. The Time Pocket Watch wants to trap me. Shun Shen moved again, but Lawrence had already curled up into a ball and disappeared from this space with Li Fan. Hee, do you think you can escape? Shun Chen sneered. With a wave of her hand, a chair flew over from the side, and she sat on it. A black and gold cloak appeared on Shun Chen's body, and on his head was a pure gold crown. She sat with her chin resting on her hand. Go, find out where they are, and kill them without mercy. Yes. Everyone obeyed his orders, and the dark wizards all turned into black smoke and went out to search for Li Fan and the others. A little heartache? Shin Shin looked at the empty surroundings and let out a cold laugh. The spirit of that vessel is still causing trouble. Interesting. Wait until I kill Li Fan, then you'll be obedient. At this moment, Li Fan was thrown into a steel mill, and the surrounding temperature quickly melted the frost on his body. Lawrence stood at the side, and there was still a wound on his shoulder that kept bleeding. "Who told you to save me?" Li Fan looked at Lawrence. "I haven't beaten that idiot yet. You can't win in her domain." Lawrence used his cane to touch the wound, and it was healing quickly. He heaved a sigh of relief. Li Fan said, "Who is the Son of God? Why are you so worried?" "Son of God? Hee. That's what the dark wizards call him." Lawrence sneered. "We call him the devil. What the hell is he? Do you know Devil Island?" Lawrence said, "She came from there." Devil Island? Li Fan once again heard the name of this place. It was Demon Island again. This place had a lot of hits recently. He would develop it later and make it a tourist attraction. "Yes, but what does it have to do with me? I'll just kill him." Li Fan used his true chi to evaporate the water on his body. He stood up and stretched his body. "You stay here. I'll go back and settle the score with him." "Are you crazy?" Lawrence grabbed Li Fan. "We need to think about this." "Think about it, my ass. You go find a magic association. I'll do my own thing." This time, if he didn't bring Shun Shin back, Li Fan wouldn't leave. "The current Shin Shun is not the Shun Shin you know." Lawrence reminded him. "I have to get her back. Do you think you're the only one who lost an important person?" Lawrence's expression was cold. "Debbie was just killed by a dark wizard, just to cover me." "Debbie? The one you met on the plane before." Lawrence said, "He's my lover." Li Fan was stunned for a moment. Damn, it really was a corrupt country. But I won't let his sacrifice be in vain. Lawrence's eyes were vicious. "I want to avenge him, but with our strength, it's not enough to deal with that devil. Since we're on the same boat, you should listen to my command." Li Fan looked at Lawrence. In this England, he was more or less a local snake, and with the help of magic, it was still useful. "I'm a member of the Magic Association. Why should I listen to your command?" Lawrence frowned. "Because I can help you get revenge." Li Fan stretched his muscles and said, "I'll do you a favor, and you'll do me a favor. That way, it'll be fair, okay?" "Okay." Lawrence thought for a moment and agreed to Li Fan. After all, in his opinion, Li Fan was also a good fighter. "Okay, then first tell me, where is Shun Shin now?" "She's in the tea room. That place is a floating space. I found it because I locked onto you before. Now, we can't find that place. But those dark wizards know." Li Fan's eyes rolled around. "How many dark wizards' territories are there in England?" "As far as I know, there are 4. Lawrence thought for a moment. "Why are you asking this?" "To play with them." Li Fan wanted to save Shun Shun, and finding these dark wizards was the only way. He took out his phone, called Jessica, and told her that he would be staying in Europe for a few days. "Do you like that girl very much?" Lawrence asked him. "How is that possible?" Li Fan emphasized, "I'm doing it for 200,000. Chapter 1044. Jessica was really anxious. She never expected that at the last moment, something would happen to Shun Shun and she would go missing. The agency actually gave up on looking for Shun Shun. "Since she's missing, let her be," the big boss of the company told herself. "Anyway, we've already given up on her." Shun Shun, whose voice is broken, has lost all value. When Jessica received the call, she was really desperate. She could only pin her hopes on Li Fan. This amazing Chinese man. Is this the place? At this time, Li Fan, also wearing a black cloak, followed beside Lawrence. In front of them was a subway station, which was bustling with people and passengers. "This is the place," Lawrence nodded. "Now the Association of Mages is doing its best to resist the attack of the Dark Wizards, and even the Dark Wizards have penetrated deep into the upper echelons. We can't pin our hopes on the Association, only you and me. Isn't this just right?" Li Fan smiled. "I like peace and don't like outsiders disturbing me. I hope we can survive." Lawrence was just making a last effort. He touched Derby's photo. "I will come to accompany you soon. Don't worry, we will survive." Li Fan patted Lawrence on the shoulder. "Of course, if you can pay, I will protect you very well." "Hey, Chinese escort, this is the British magic world. You won't be able to adapt here." Lawrence sneered. "Our actions may be completely ineffective." "Really? Let's see. But now it's your job, right?" Leave it to me. Lawrence took out the time pocket watch and pressed the switch. Everything around them stopped. Even the subway that was gradually entering the platform stopped there. The time on the monitor also stopped, stuck at the number 17:15 in the afternoon. Done. Lawrence put away the pocket watch. This thing is too convenient. Li Fan looked at the time pocket watch and felt that it was a bit amazing. This is a necessary equipment for the demon police. Lawrence said, only third-level mages and above can wear it. Why doesn't everyone have a piece of such a useful thing? This magic pocket watch can't be used casually. Lawrence explained, all magic is an equivalent exchange. We are summoning powerful magic power, and at the same time, we are exchanging the same items. As for stopping time, what it consumes is the user's time. Shortening lifespan? Li Fan understood. Yes, as long as you stop, you have to pay. Lawrence nodded. It's a fair exchange. All right. Li Fan also wanted to get a pocket watch to play with, but he gave up after hearing what Lawrence said. It was a watch that had a short lifespan. Forget it. Lawrence picked up his cane and knocked on the door in front of him. The door to the bathroom slowly opened, and a dark aura floated out. Why do you always like to set the entrance in the bathroom? Li Fan was a little confused. The most common place is the safest place. Lawrence casually explained, what's more, this is not our place, but the gathering place of the dark wizards. With that, he walked in first. Be careful, don't die. Li Fan followed behind. The two seemed to pass through a wave of water and then came to an empty room. This place was about 200 square meters, dimly lit, and at the front was a huge statue that looked like a devil with black wings on its back. This is the devil. Lawrence looked at the huge statue. His eyes seemed to be blurred for a moment, but soon returned to normal. He has a voice that can confuse people. This is a very terrifying ability. I see. Li Fan finally knew why Shan Chen's voice was so beautiful. Which department are you from? At this moment, a cloaked man standing in front of the statue suddenly raised his cane and pointed it at Li Fan. Tell me your names. It's the priest here. Lawrence reminded Li Fan. Be quiet. Leave it to me. I'm Carl from the 3rd Division. I heard that the god is back, so I came to contribute my strength. Is that so? Take off your cloak and let me see your face. Behind the priest stood 4 dark wizards. They all held their canes, waiting to check Lawrence and Li Fan. Okay, I'll stop wasting time. I'm Li Fan. Li Fan took off his cloak, and Lawrence was so scared that his heart almost stopped. What was this guy doing? Was he crazy? There were 5 dark magi here, and one of them was a rank 4 priestess. Kill them. The priest roared, and suddenly the god of war appeared behind Li Fan. He slapped the priest to the ground, and with a wave of his hand, the remaining 4 dark wizards flew out and hit the wall. I'll only ask you once. Where is Shun Shun? Li Fan squatted down and asked the priest who was lying on the ground. Damn it, the priest was enraged. He raised his cane. Lightning guards, protect me. A golden thunderball flew out, but Li Fan reached out and crushed the thunderball that had yet to take shape. I don't have much patience. Tell me, where is Shun Shun? Li Fan lowered his voice, and there was anger in his voice. Lawrence was dumbfounded. Such a destructive attack. Chinese martial artists were indeed powerful. I won't tell you even if I die. You damn Huaxia people. The priest was still yelling. What are you all doing? Kill them. The remaining 4 dark magi all got up and raised their staffs, ready to attack Li Fan and the others. Courting death. Li Fan stepped on the priest with 1 foot and stood up at the same time. He hit the 4 dark wizards with his palm. Ursa Major Seal. The powerful palm wind directly blasted the 4 of them into pieces. A huge palm print was left on the opposite wall, and the 4 dark wizards seemed to be completely obliterated. Lawrence's eyes almost popped out, killing 4 dark wizards with a wave of his hand. This combat power seemed to be very powerful. I'll give you one last chance. Where is Shun Shun? Do you really want to know where God is? Ha, I won't tell you. Go to hell. The priest's cane suddenly lit up, and Lawrence was shocked. Not good. He's going to self-destruct. Li Fan used his tiger claw and directly dug out his heart and crushed it in his hand. The vigorous magic power also slowly dissipated. Shun Shun, don't worry. I'll definitely save you. Chapter 1045. Reporting to God. All of our bases in England have been destroyed. The cloaked man knelt in front of Shun Shun and kept apologizing to her. Oh, who destroyed them? Magic Association's magic police, Lawrence, and that Chinese man. That Chinese martial artist? Shun Shun seemed to be a bit lazy. Let them be. That's our foundation, God. Since they could be easily eliminated, then there's no value in staying. Shin Shun waved her hand. I never keep trash by my side. But, what about our plan to conquer the world? I don't have the mood to conquer the world recently. Shin Shun held her chin and leaned on the chair. God, don't bother me. Shin Shun glared at him, and the cloaked man curled up on the ground in fear. I may have been a bit slack recently. Shin Shun sighed. Then let's first conquer this city as the first God city. Thank you so much, God. We are willing to sacrifice our lives for God. Take the lead. Send out the magic order. Gather in front of the city hall. Yes. The cloaked man went down happily. I can't believe your soul can still continue to cause trouble. Shun Shun said to herself, after I use powerful magic to conquer this city, you will disappear completely. With that, she waved her hand and disappeared from the tea room. When she reappeared, she was standing in front of the London City Hall. Shun Shun floated on the ground and slowly moved toward the government gate. Who is it? Stop! The two guards in front of the City Hall immediately pulled out their pistols and aimed at Shun Shun. Stupid mortal, kill yourself. Shun Shun ordered. The two guards sneered. Who do you think you are? You can order us? Although they said that, their hands were not under control. They raised their pistols and aimed at each other. What are you doing, Charles? I don't know. Aren't you also aiming at me? Be careful. I'm out of control. The two pulled the trigger at the same time and hit each other's forehead. I am the great God. I give you 10 minutes to surrender immediately. Otherwise, you will all die. 5 minutes later, the government in London was mobilized. The mayor of London looked at the surveillance screen in front of him. A half-masked woman was floating there, holding a cane in her hand, standing on a tower-shaped statue in front of the city hall. She was surrounded by bodies, all of them London commandos. In the past, they had killed many terrorists and criminals, but today, they were mercilessly slaughtered. It's a dark wizard. Where are the people from the Magic Association? The mayor of London knew a little about the magic world. They had an agreement with the Magic Association. The Magic Association should be the one to handle the magic world affairs. The people from the Magic Association have already contacted them. We've sealed off this area. They'll be here soon. As soon as he finished speaking, one figure after another appeared beside the statue. The people from the Magic Association are here. The secretary stood beside the mayor and heaved a sigh of relief. There's no problem now. Not necessarily. A British-looking man suddenly appeared beside the mayor. He took off his hat and bowed to the mayor. Hello, Honorable Mayor. I'm Lawrence, a Level 3 Demon Police Officer. What is that? The mayor reprimanded them. What's wrong with your Magic Association? Why did you let such a powerful person escape? Do you know how much pressure you put me under? And these dead commandos, they did the job you were supposed to do. They were all innocent sacrifices. I'm sorry, Sir Mayor, but this person's power is not something we can control. Lawrence said, even the Archmage can't deal with her. How is it possible Before the mayor finished his scolding, he was suddenly shocked by the scene on the screen. Those magicians from the Magic Association, one by one, raised their scepters, aimed at each other, and then were shot dead by their companions. How? How is this possible? I said, she's not someone we can deal with. Lawrence reminded the mayor again. Mayor Bordeaux is here. The secretary suddenly, excitedly reminded the mayor. Great. The mayor was also excited. Now we're saved. London's Archmage? Lawrence looked at the screen. His eyes seemed to have a little expectation. This powerful Lord Warlock might really be able to weaken the evil demons. And on the screen, a middle-aged man wearing a white suit stood there, slightly bowing to Shun Shun. Dear Miss Devil, I pay my respects to your powerful magic power. Archmage, Shun Shun looked at the Archmage Bordeaux, standing there. His expression was still calm. "That's right." Bordeaux nodded. "I'm not talented. Please return to Demon Island. After coming out from there, naturally I won't go back." Shun Shun slowly said, "I think you're pretty good. I'll give you a chance to be my subordinate." "I'll have to disappoint you." Bordeaux smiled. "Your existence will only destroy the balance of this world. A true magician respects the law of equivalent exchange and protects the balance of this world. Since that's the case, I can't keep you." Shun Shun held his scepter and summoned his frost messenger. The humanoid ice woman floated in the air, stretched out her hands, and summoned a frost storm. The sky suddenly began to snow, and the ground condensed with cold frost. Bordeaux raised his scepter. He had the wind elemental envoy. The Archmage's elemental envoy was the size of a 7 or 8-year-old child. It opened its hands and opened a wind wall for Bordeaux, blocking the surrounding cold. As expected of a devil, your magic power is really strong. Bordeaux could not help but praise. This place has almost become a world of ice and snow. The City Hall building was covered in snow. It was obviously autumn, but London seemed to have ushered in winter. 10 minutes have passed. Everyone must die. Shun Shun pointed his scepter at Bordeaux. "I'll start with you." As he spoke, a frost storm engulfed Bordeaux's body. Wind blades flew out and cut open the frost storm. Bordeaux stood there, holding his scepter in his hand. "I'm sorry, I can't die yet," Bordeaux said. "As London's Archmage, I can't tolerate you destroying this city." "Oh, I'm not destroying it. I'm conquering it." Shun Shun was expressionless. "This is just the beginning. Those who don't obey me must die." Chapter 1046. With that, Shun Shun pointed his scepter at Bordeaux again. "I admit, your strength is indeed good, but unfortunately, your opponent is God." With that, Bordeaux's body suddenly flew up. His wind elemental sprite was about to counterattack, but was suddenly pierced through by Shun Shun's ice elemental sword and turned into ashes. As expected of a demon, such powerful strength. Blood was already dripping from the corner of Bordeaux's mouth, but his eyes were still firm. "For this city, I have long been prepared to sacrifice myself. Respected demon, everything in this world has to be exchanged for equal value." Bordeaux took out the time pocket watch in his hand. "Use my time to stop your time." "Time pocket watch?" Shun Shun frowned, seemingly a little afraid, but Bordeaux had already pressed the pocket watch. His expression was stiff, and his whole body began to become completely still, as if he was frozen forever. But Shun Shun put down his scepter and sighed softly. "Everything in this world is indeed equivalent exchange. But I have endless life. Even if you use all your life to stop my time, it's just a drop in the bucket." "Bordeaux, did he fail?" The mayor saw all this in the surveillance video, his face pale, not daring to believe the truth. Bordeaux was London's magic god, a legendary level 6 magician. Back then, in order to destroy the creator, England sent 3 magic gods in a row to pacify the Golden Empire. These 3 people were known as the 3 Saints, and Bordeaux was one of them. But now a so-called demon actually killed the magic god Bordeaux. How is this possible? Could it be? Doomsday is really coming. The mayor's face was ashen. "Mayor, the nearest army has arrived." "Is it the Royal Air Force?" "Yes." The secretary's words made the mayor calm down again. "Great. This time, no matter what kind of demon he is, he's dead." The Royal Air Force was England's trump card. The mayor was waiting for them to destroy this damn demon. "The Association of Mages is really too useless. We still have to rely on our modern army." The mayor sneered. "Hope, it's a little useful." Lawrence didn't say too much. He just stood silently in the surveillance room, watching everything on the screen. A total of 8 fighters, all of England's top fighters, formed a formation and flew toward Shun Shun. "Lock onto the target and launch the Viper missile." The captain of the formation gave the order to prepare a wave of missiles to eliminate Shun Shun. But Shun Shun stood on top of the statue, raised her staff high, and released magic towards the sky. The frost spread out, and the missiles that flew in front of Shun Shun were all frozen into ice cubes. Then, they fell around Shun and smashed into the ground. Freeze! Under the release of Shun's magic, the surrounding airplanes were all frozen into ice sculptures. One by one, they fell from the sky and smashed into pieces. Shun stood there, surrounded by frozen airplanes. She wore a mask and stood on top of the statue. She did not look like a demon, but a god of destruction who came to destroy the world. A lot of time has passed. Since you are unwilling to surrender, then accept your punishment. Shun raised his cane high. The whole city freeze as well. Shun, I haven't seen you for a few days. Why is your temper so bad? A figure passed through the cold fog and slowly walked in. Who is that? The mayor was shocked to see a Chinese man appear on the screen. He's a Chinese martial artist. Lawrence explained, he's our last hope. Nonsense. Even the magic god Bordeaux is no match for him. How can a Chinese man deal with him? To be honest, I don't believe it either. Lawrence said slowly. But who can we trust now? I hope that this Chinese man can give me more surprises. How can we rely on a Chinese man? He will definitely be killed. Who else can we rely on? My dear mayor? Lawrence pointed at the screen. What you can do is the same as me. Just watch here with peace of mind. If it's destruction, then let us face it together. There was some commotion in the monitoring room. Many people were crying. Everyone calm down. The mayor roared, suppressing these people. Look at you, what are you all doing? Everyone calm down. Only then did the people in the monitoring room quiet down. As the mayor of London, I will fight with you until the last moment. The Third Army will be here soon. I hope that this Chinese man can hold on for 10 minutes. Everyone placed their hopes on this Chinese man. At this moment, Li Fan looked at Shun in front of him. Shun was surrounded by ice and snow, engulfing his body. Li Fan was only wearing a sportswear, but he stood in the snow and scathed. The soul of this vessel doesn't seem to want to kill you. Shun looked at Li Fan. Let my servant do it. With that, she raised her staff and opened a magic door in the air. One by one, the dark wizards jumped out of the magic door. Great God, you finally called us. The cloaked man led hundreds of dark wizards. These are your troops. Please give your orders. Kill this man. Shun said to the cloaked man, I will grant you the magic of the magic god. Shun pointed at the cloaked man, and his god immediately shone with black light. Even his appearance had become much younger. Thank you, God. The cloaked man kowtowed to Shun. Tears of gratitude flowed down his face. My God, she actually casually created a magic god. The secretary took a deep breath. Is she really a god? No, she is a demon. Lawrence emphasized. So scary. Are we finished? Don't worry, let's watch first. The mayor pinned his last hope on this Chinese man, hoping that he could hold on for a while longer. More than 100 dark magi took out their staffs at the same time, summoned their elemental life forms, and released their spells to attack Li Fan. Li Fan coldly snorted. If that's the case, then I will kill you first. He put on a golden armor and walked forward step by step. All kinds of magic bombarded his body, but they were all blocked by his golden armor. Li Fan was not affected in the slightest, letting the magic explode. Seeing Li Fan walking over step by step, the cloaked man was somewhat angry. Trash, haven't you eaten? Hurry up and kill him. Li Fan coldly snorted. He suddenly took a step forward and punched forward with his right fist. Bang! The statue was directly smashed by Li Fan's fist, and the wind from the fist swirled around, killing dozens of dark wizards at the same time. Chapter 10:47. The Berserk Fist aura engulfed the surroundings of the statue. More than a dozen dark magi did not even have the time to scream before they were smashed into meat paste by Li Fan's fist aura. The remaining dark magi were shocked. As Shun floated into the air, they released even more powerful magic, wanting to kill Li Fan. However, Li Fan's feet bounced off the ground, and he continuously used Cloud Ladder, ascending to a height of 100 meters. Li Fan's body turned upside down, and he looked at the ground and struck out with his palm. Dragon King Seal. As if a divine dragon's claw had descended from the sky, a 10-meter-long palm print appeared on the ground. More than a dozen dark magi were smashed into meat paste by Li Fan's palm, not even leaving behind their corpses. In the blink of an eye, Li Fan landed on the ground, and his body moved like a tank. He grabbed the extraordinary sword, and with a shake of his hand, the hilt of the sword lengthened and the blade shortened, transforming into a black spear that he held in his hand. Li Fan wielded the black spear and slaughtered his way through the crowd. His black spear could easily pierce through a dark magus' throat every time, taking away their lives. This black spear was like the weapon of the Grim Reaper, and not a single dark magus could escape from it. Damn Chinese! Let me personally destroy him. The cloaked man spoke and raised his cane, aiming it at Li Fan. Go to. Before he could finish his words, Li Fan's spear had already pierced through his heart, and he was flung into the air, landing on his shoulder. Shen Chun, it's just the two of us left. Li Fan was surrounded by the corpses of dark magi. He stood on the ground, shouldered his spear, and looked at Shen Chun, who was floating in the air. I haven't settled the matter from the last time. How about we settle it this time? Seems like I have to do it myself. Shen Chun sighed, then ordered, Kneel. You still want to control me? Li Fan laughed coldly. I've already prepared for this. With the golden armor on his body, Li Fan blocked Shen Chun's incantation attack. One interesting Huaxiao warrior. However, it ends here. Shen Chun ordered the Frost Messenger. Freeze him. The Frost Messenger blew at Li Fan. Immediately, frost began to condense on Li Fan's feet and spread to his body. However, Li Fan did not care. The true qi in his body began to heat up, and in the blink of an eye, the frost melted and evaporated. Shen Chun, it's time to come back. As Li Fan spoke, he bent his knees slightly, jumped up, and rushed head-on towards Shen Chun, who was above his head. He mercilessly aimed his spear at Shen Chun's throat. He was warning this fellow that if he did not leave Shen Chun's body, he would die. Fool! Shen Chun snorted coldly, and the elemental messenger created a frost crystal in front of her, blocking Li Fan's attack. Li Fan did not stop and directly stabbed out with his spear. There is no power that can break through my ice shield. Without waiting for Shen Chun to finish, Li Fan's spear had already pierced through her shield and arrived in front of Shen Chun's throat in the blink of an eye. Shen Chun raised her cane and released a strong cold air, striking Li Fan out. So scary. Li Fan flipped in the air and landed on the ground again, stabilizing his body. Your energy is quite strong. Shen Chun frowned. The strength of this Huaxiao martial artist has exceeded her imagination. In that case, I will use all my strength to kill you. Shen Chun held the frost elemental's hand and instantly merged with her. She put on a silver-white combat coat. Her body carried a cold air and pointed a finger at Li Fan. Countless icicles rose from the ground and stabbed at Li Fan. However, Li Fan swung his spear and immediately cut those icicles. It's useless, Shen Chun. You are not my opponent. Last time, Li Fan was careless, but this time, Li Fan did not underestimate his opponent. Since you are not willing to leave Shen Chun's body, then I will kill you. He carried his spear and walked step by step towards Shen Chun. Oh, you don't care about this girl? Since it is painful, why not let me end it? After Li Fan merged with his heart demon, once he made a decision, he would not hesitate anymore. He suddenly jumped up and stabbed his spear at Shen Chun. Shen Chun raised her hands and erected an ice wall in front of Li Fan. Bang, bang, bang. Li Fan moved forward and stabbed the great spear in his hand at Shen Chun. This great spear pierced through 7 ice walls in a row, broke through all of Shen Chun's defenses, and finally arrived in front of her. Humph! Shen Chun picked up a frost shield and lifted it up, knocking away Li Fan's spear from the side. At the same time, her other hand picked up an ice sword and slashed at Li Fan's neck. This is a bit interesting. Li Fan held his great spear and exchanged a few blows with Shen Chun. Dang, dang, dang. Sparks flew in all directions as the two of them exchanged more than 20 blows in an instant. However, Shen Chun was forced to retreat again and again. Whether it is physical strength or fighting skills, she is not Li Fan's opponent. Soon, she was forced into a corner by Li Fan. At the same time, a spear landed on her shoulder and she was sent flying by Li Fan. Bang! Shin Shun fell to the ground, her eyes flashing with shock. The mayor in front of the monitor was even more surprised. This Chinese martial artist is actually suppressing the demon. How can Chinese martial artists be so powerful? No wonder the British Magic Association was not willing to go to China in recent years. Shin Shun, goodbye. Li Fan held a spear and stepped on Shun Chen's chest, making it impossible for her to dodge. At the same time, Li Fan's spear was aimed at Shun Chen's throat and was about to stab it. Just as Li Fan's spear was about to stab, a black mist suddenly flew out from Shun Chen's body. This mist condensed into a black figure in the air. It flapped a pair of black wings on its back. Its appearance is very similar to the statue that Li Fan saw at the sacrificial altar. This black demon turned its head and rushed towards Li Fan. Since it is like this, then possess your god. Li Fan frowned. At this time, Mr. Yang's figure appeared in the air and grabbed the black demon's waist. A little spirit body also dares to stop me? The black demon flapped its wings and pushed Mr. Yang to the side. Li Fan also brandished his spear, but his spear passed through the black demon and could not hurt its body at all. This black demon is a kind of spiritual power. Li Fan is unable to resist it. He took 2 steps back, but the black demon was already in front of him. If it possessed his body, this guy would probably be invincible in the world. However, at this moment, a golden sword suddenly fell from the sky and pierced the black demon's body. A figure landed on the sword and lowered his head, looking at the demon below him. Sorry, this person belongs to me. Chapter 1048. Shang, Fong, Bao, Sword. The black demon roared. His voice was filled with unwillingness. Yes, old friend, thank you for remembering me. Wang Luo stood on top of the sword. I will send you to the afterlife, Amit Ba. As Wang Luo's voice fell, the black demon's body disappeared. Why are you here? Li Fan looked at Wang Luo in surprise. Idiot, hurry up and leave, or else you won't be able to leave later. Wang Luo pointed to the army that was gradually approaching. Once they approached, Li Fan would indeed be in some trouble. Then I'll leave first. Li Fan picked up Shin Shun, then jumped up and followed behind Wang Luo. Using Qin Gong, he disappeared from the building in the blink of an eye. The mayor sat down on the chair and let out a long sigh of relief. The crisis this time was finally resolved, but they didn't rely on the local experts of England, but the martial artists of China. This made the mayor feel lucky, but at the same time, he felt a strong sense of insecurity. Go find out who that man is. The mayor ordered the secretary, who also let out a sigh of relief. Try to make him our nationality. If it doesn't work, we can't keep him. Lawrence, who is that Chinese man? I only know one of them. Lawrence shrugged his shoulders, and we're only cooperating for a period of time. I know the other one. He's China's Shang Fong Sword, the guardian of China. China, why are there so many abnormal people? Lawrence was a little dumbfounded. No wonder the Association of Mages forbade mages from entering China. Lawrence really didn't understand before, but now he finally understood. It seems that this young man may be the next generation of Shang Fong Sword that China is training. The mayor of London frowned as he ordered Lawrence. Use my command. Let the Association of Mages send another 2 saint-level mages over, with 100 level 5 mages from the Association of Mages. If he doesn't want to become our nationality, kill this man overnight. Absolutely, we can't let him leave England. Lawrence was silent for a moment. What, you don't want to? No, I'm happy to help. Lawrence nodded. Everything is for the empire where the sun never sets. Well, it's good that you understand. The mayor of London picked up the telephone and handed it to Lawrence. Use my phone to call the Magic Association. Hurry up. Li Fan and Wang Luo were currently staying in an uninhabited house in the suburbs of London. Wang Luo was skillfully working in the kitchen, preparing 2 dinners and placing them on the table. My cooking skills are amazing. Come, Have a taste of my cooking. Looking at the 2 plates of egg-fried rice in front of him, Li Fan was speechless. You call this amazing? Don't you read novels and dramas? The male lead usually conquers everything with the simplest egg-fried rice. Wang Luo said with a smile. Fuck, isn't that a web novel? It's pure bullshit. How can egg-fried rice taste good? I've read too many Cooking Masterboy novels. Li Fan curled his lips. I want to have a feast after fighting a demon. The egg-fried rice is very nutritious and suitable for replenishing energy. Wang Luo advised Li Fan earnestly, don't be picky, young man. Also, hurry up and eat. Once you're done, we'll have to run. Run? Run for what? Li Fan was a little confused. Shun and I are flying tomorrow. If you want to run, why don't you run by yourself? Do you think that after causing such a ruckus in London, they will let you go back safely? Fuck, I saved them. If you can save them, you can naturally destroy them. Wang Luo explained to Li Fan with a smile. If it were you, would you let such a terrifying enemy go back? It seems like I can't. Li Fan nodded. I understand what you mean. And then hurry up and eat. We'll leave after we're done. Wang Luo sat beside Li Fan and picked up the chopsticks. When we reach China, they'll be well behaved. But there's also a group of people in China who want to kill me, right? Li Fan thought of the Holy War plan. It's the same for those in power. After using us, they'll just abandon us. Take over the Shang Fong sword. Wang Luo said to Li Fan while eating the egg-fried rice. The Grim Reaper has stopped on my shoulder. The next time you're in such danger, I won't be able to help you. I can rely on myself. I don't need your help. Li Fan still had this stubborn temper. Little friend, I had the same temper as you when I was young. Wang Luo was not angry. I won't turn back until I hit the wall. You mean you hit the wall? Li Fan quickly ate the egg-fried rice and then asked. Then I won't tell you. Wang Luo maintained his sense of mystery. Take this little girl. We should leave. Are they here? In, faster than I thought. Speaking of which, why didn't you leave earlier? Li Fan could not help but ask. How can we run if we don't eat? Wang Luo laughed. Besides, are you going to swim back? The ship I contacted has just arrived at the port and is waiting for us. All right. Li Fan carried Shun on his back and then tied her up with a rope. Let's go. Be careful. Your weakness has already been found out by those British. Wang Luo reminded Li Fan. Then, holding his Shang Fong sword, he flung his black coat and walked out of the door. However, Li Fan saw that Wang Luo's hair had already turned white. The last time he saw him, he still had black hair. In just a few days, he has aged so much. Wang Luo and Li Fan walked out of the small house. The originally dark outside was suddenly lit up, illuminating the surroundings as if it was daytime. A group of magicians in tuxedos surrounded them. Not only them, there are also a lot of people from the army. Li Fan took a look. There were 4 tanks with their cannons aimed at him, and 2 men in white tuxedos stood there, a man and a woman. Both of them were old and seemed to be god of magic. And Lawrence stood among them, pressing down on his western hat, leaning on his cane, looking at Li Fan. Li Fan, sorry, you can't escape. You guys are really killing the chef after eating. Li Fan sneered. Everyone is standing on different sides, each for their own master. Please understand. I should let Shun eliminate you guys first. Li Fan sneered. This is my understanding of you guys. Don't talk like a child. Wang Luo patted Li Fan and then looked at the people in front of him and smiled happily. This scene is really touching. The last time you guys went against the creator, it was just like this, right? Chapter 1049. Sir Wang Luo, you can leave at any time. In Lawrence's hand is Bordeaux's cane. With the help of the Magic Association, he has forcefully increased his magic power and became the new mage god, replacing Bordeaux's position. He saluted Wang Luo. You are the imperial sword. We don't want to go against you. But this young man and this woman must stay. What? Wang Luo chuckled. What do you want to do to my disciple? The demon is already dead. You still won't let Shun go? Li Fan asked. As long as she is still alive, the demon may come back. Lawrence firmly said, So, Li Fan, I hope you can understand. Understand your grandma's leg. Li Fan angrily cursed. His temper still has a little bit of loyalty in it. We don't have to do it, Lawrence said to Li Fan, as long as you become a British citizen and become a warrior of Great Britain. At that time, the Queen will also give you a title. With your strength and this time's contribution to London and Britain, she will definitely give you a baron. At that time, you will enjoy endless glory and wealth. Isn't that better? Although, I didn't have a good time in China, but I can't betray my own people. Li Fan did not hesitate and directly rejected Lawrence's request. Then you want to be our enemy. If we don't agree, then half a sentence is too much. Li Fan gathered his true chi. Let's fight. Leave Li Fan. Lawrence raised his cane. All mages, use your spiritual magic. Under Lawrence's command, all the mages raised their canes and launched a spell at Li Fan. More than 100 advanced mages released the spiritual magic that Li Fan is least proficient in. There was no doubt about Li Fan's fighting ability, but at this moment, he felt as if there was a huge mountain pressing down on his heart, making him lose the desire to fight. He didn't even have the strength to move his body. It was as if he was sleeping in a nightmare, and Li Fan couldn't break free. As expected, you've discovered this kid's only weakness. Wang Luo stretched out his hand, pulled out his Shang Fong sword, and held it in his hand. Since that's the case, there's no need for me to be polite with you. Do you really want to be enemies with us? Lawrence looked at Wang Luo in front of him. We have 3 archmages here and over 100 magicians of the 5th rank. It is indeed a big deal. Wang Luo nodded. Even during the crusade against the Creator, I didn't see you guys expending so much effort. However, against my Shang Fong treasured sword, your people are still not enough. As Wang Luo spoke, he carried his sword and walked towards the mages. Attack Wang Luo. Lawrence gave the order, and more than 100 magicians simultaneously released magic at Wang Luo. However, Wang Luo stretched out her hand and seemed to have released a barrier that easily blocked these spells. No matter how many magicians attacked, they couldn't even touch a hair on Wang Luo's body. Meanwhile, Wang Luo had already gotten close to a magician. With a wave of his hand, the magician's head was immediately chopped off. I feel like I'm going to kill quite a lot of people this time. Wang Luo's mouth hung a smile. However, it's just as well. I can find more people to accompany me. With me as the command, Tornado of Fury. A tornado wrapped around Wang Luo's body. This tornado tore the surrounding objects into pieces. With a wave of a sword, the tornado was sliced apart. Wang Luo walked out from inside, holding the Shang Fong treasured sword in his hand. I'm sorry, archmages and whatnot. I, Wang Luo, have never placed them in my eyes. Empire's lightning. Flame of Doomsday. The other 2 archmages also released their big magic. Lightning and flames descended from the sky at the same time, falling towards Wang Luo. However, Wang Luo raised his left hand and pointed at the sky. A car beside him immediately flew up and blocked the 2 magic attacks for him. Boom! The small car was directly blown apart, while Wang Luo stood below, safe and sound. He allowed the car parts to fall around him with flames. Wind pressure. However, Lawrence already had a plan. He suddenly made a sneak attack. A strong wind pressure blew Wang Luo's body away, and he directly smashed onto a bus at the side, causing the bus to explode. Huaxia's sword is only SOSO. Lawrence heaved a sigh of relief. After getting rid of Wang Luo, Li Fan would be easy to deal with. Ayaya, I've let you down. Wang Luo's voice rang out once again. He slowly walked out from the raging flames with the Shang Fong treasured sword on his shoulder. He stretched out his hand and extinguished the flames on the corner of his clothes. Is there anything more exciting? Quickly take it out and let me have some fun. Lawrence's heart twitched. This Wang Luo is even more powerful than that demon. The mayor is right. If Li Fan becomes the next generation's Shang Fong treasured sword, I'm afraid that the unsetting sun empire will never be able to rise again. This kind of country's sharp weapon must be cut down. I'm the only Shang Fong treasured sword that doesn't know martial arts. Wang Luo held his treasured sword and continued to kill the surrounding mages as he said, However, after my disciple takes over, this weakness will be completely fixed. I won't let you guys go. Lawrence took out the pocket watch in his hand. Even if everyone can't kill you, I still have a trump card hidden up my sleeve. You want to sacrifice yourself to stop my time? Wang Luo could already see the determination in the other party's eyes. This, Lawrence, is probably for real. As long as I kill you, my companions will be able to execute Li Fan and the Devil's Child. Lawrence's finger was already pressed on the pocket watch. Goodbye, Huaxia's sword. Lawrence activated his last magic as he tried to take away Wang Luo's time. The two of them were aging at a speed visible to the naked eye. Very quickly, Wang Luo's hair turned white, while Lawrence also turned from a handsome guy to a white-haired old man as he kneeled on the ground. The two mages attacked Wang Luo with their magic, but Wang Luo once again opened up a spiritual barrier, blocking their attacks. At the same time, she threw out her treasured sword and used her spiritual power to control the sword to kill the two mages before returning it to her hand. What? Lawrence trembled as he looked at Wang Luo in disbelief. My lifespan is quite long. Wang Luo's laughter carried the vicissitudes of life. If not for my body, I'm afraid I can still live for more than 100 years. Damn it, I miscalculated. Lawrence looked at the other two mages. You guys, who will take over my position? Using one's life to stop time, this is a big magic that only a mage can use. But at this moment, the other two mages all flinched. There was despair in Lawrence's eyes. Chapter 1050. Goodbye. I'm coming for you. Before Lawrence died, he seemed to have seen something. His hopeless expression relaxed and turned into relief. Then, he fell to the ground and dropped his cane. He lost his life completely. But the remaining two archmages retreated under Wang Luo's attack. Although Wang Luo has a head of white hair, he is able to kill his way in and out as though he is invincible. With a mental shield in his left hand and an imperial sword in his right, every time he walks past a place, he would kill all the local mages. The four tanks were ready to move, but Wang Luo only used his mental power to turn the barrel of one of the tanks to aim at his comrade and fire. The tank troops killed each other, and very quickly, they became scrap metal. Not long after, the troops that were sent over are almost all massacred. Wang Luo carries a sword as though he is invincible. Because too many mages have died, the mental suppression on Li Fan finally weakened. He stood up again and pulled out his extraordinary great spear. Dragging it behind him, he also killed the enemies around him. The two archmages looked at each other and felt that they could not hold on any longer, so they decided to retreat first. One sword of China is enough of a headache. Now, there's another martial artist Li Fan. What should they do? Retreat. The two archmages finally gave the order to retreat, but there's almost no one left alive to carry out this order. There are only 2 or 3 survivors left, and all of them are injured. Did you see your weakness? Wang Luo has a head of white hair. Different from the handsome man from before. The current him is as thin as a skeleton. Like a candle in the wind, it seems like he will die at any moment. Thank you. Li Fan looked at Wang Luo in front of him and was filled with emotions. This man who did not look like a decent man, in order to save him, he almost lost his life. Don't pity me. Wang Luo stared at him. I did not become like this because I helped you. Everyone will die one day. This is my fate. But before my life ends, I need to find the next generation sword of China. Let me think about it, if I have the time. Wang Luo sheathed her sword. It's fate that we've met. Before I die, I'll at least help you train your spiritual power. You want me to cultivate with you? More or less. I'll find someone to help you send this girl back to China. You, and I will continue to stay abroad for a while. Why? The Holy War is currently being carried out in the country. Wang Luo reminded Li Fan. If you don't get rid of your shortcomings, you will still be targeted after you return to the country. If the British can discover it, so can they. All right, Li Fan agreed first. In order to increase his strength, it seemed like a good idea to train with Wang Luo for a while. He followed Wang Luo to the port, handed Shunshin over to a friend of Wang Luo's, and continued to stay in London with Wang Luo. Is it okay for us to stay here? Li Fan couldn't help but ask as he followed Wang Luo back to the small house. They think we've already returned to Huaxia. Wang Luo chuckled. I think that since they failed this time, they will probably choose to use diplomatic methods to force you to commit the crime. Diplomatic methods? Yes, provide some kind of benefit to the country's higher-ups and then extradite you abroad. I won't agree to that. I've said it before, you have too many cases on you. Wang Luo reminded Li Fan. Just give you 2 cases and you'll become a notorious murderer. Unless you take over the Shang Fong sword, then no one has the right to hand it over to you, because you'll be the symbol of Huaxia. Wang Luo looked at the Shang Fong sword hanging on the wall. Although it was a sword left behind from the Han Dynasty, it was still well preserved. The scabbard was even carved with a 5-clawed golden dragon, vivid and lifelike. Where are you bringing me to train? Li Fan changed the topic. Rest for a night. I'll bring you to the Vatican tomorrow. Huh? Why are we going there? The Pope there owes me a favor. It's time for him to repay the debt. Yeah, how are we going to go there? Li Fan couldn't help but ask. You'll know tomorrow. Go to sleep first and conserve your energy. Wang Luo pointed to the sofa in the living room and then returned to his room. Li Fan didn't know what to say to him. He could only toss his body onto the sofa and recall the recent events. After coming to England, it seemed like many things were messed up. His phone was also taken away by Wang Luo. For the time being, he couldn't contact Lin Yuhzhen and the rest. He hoped that they wouldn't worry about him. Shun Shun should be able to return safely. Since he was Wang Luo's man, there shouldn't be any problems. While Li Fan was fighting for his life in London, the pugilistic world of Huaxia was also in turmoil. Shaolin, 108 Arhats, stood in the dojo outside. Each of them held a Arhut staff in their hands, and all of them were pointing at a young man standing in the middle. Amiba, the Shaolin abbot, stood on the steps and looked at the young man who was surrounded by the formation. He couldn't help but recite the name of Buddha before asking. Almsgiverly, we have no enmity in the past and no grievances today. Why do you want to kill my Shaolin disciple? The young man stood in the middle without saying a word. He just reached out and grabbed the bald head of a Shaolin Arhut beside him. His 5 fingers pierced through his skull. Tiger Claw. Amiba, if that's the case, then let's let Almsgiverly calm down first. The abbot tapped the staff in his hand. Arhut formation. The remaining 107 Arhats moved together. Everyone followed the formation and walked in circles while waving their Arhut staffs to attack the young man. However, the young man was unmoved. He didn't care if he was hit by the Arhut staffs. Every time he blocked the staffs, the monks he touched would be torn in half. Soon, the young man was covered in wounds, and many of the monks in the Arhut formation were either injured or dead. 12 monks suddenly stabbed out their Arhut staffs at the young man's body and lifted him into the air. Before the young man could react, an Arhut had already jumped behind him and smashed his head with a staff. Amit Ba, the abbot couldn't help but tap the staff, his face full of shame. But no matter what, Shaolin's crisis this time was finally resolved. However, before he could breathe a sigh of relief, a dozen figures suddenly walked over from the opposite courtyard. Each of these figures was wearing a special combat suit, and they all looked exactly the same. The abbot looked at them and sucked in a breath of cold air. No matter how strong his Buddhist heart was, he couldn't hold it in this time. Amiba, no, unbelievable. Chapter 10:51. These dozens of people all had the appearance of the little tyrant. Like an army, they walked into the dojo. Why are there so many? Amiba, this isn't a dream, right? These monks were all dumbfounded. What situation is this? This isn't a joke, right? Amiba, perhaps this is our Shaolin's calamity. The abbot raised the Buddha staff in his hand and said loudly, "This old monk will meet them personally." He faced the little tyrant army, his eyes filled with determination. The Shaolin monks and the little tyrant army clashed together. Li Fan suddenly sat up and wiped the cold sweat on his forehead. You're awake? Wang Luo stood in the kitchen, preparing breakfast. He was wearing the singlet and shorts that he wore the first time they met. Just by looking at his back, He was no different from an ordinary old man. You woke up quite early. There's still 2 hours before the appointed time. You can sleep for a while more. I had a nightmare. I couldn't sleep. Li Fan wiped the cold sweat on his forehead. I'm not going to sleep. I'm going to practice some boxing. Li Fan's daily training was a must. This was his unshakable rule. This is rare. A lot of martial artists nowadays are lazy. Wang Luo grumbled while cooking. A young martial artist like you who cultivates both internal and external martial arts is rare. Eat first. We can fight after eating. Actually, I'm very curious. Li Fan wore his sportswear and asked, China is a vast land with many experts. Why did you choose me? There were a lot of people on my short list at the beginning. Wang Luo laughed. Other than you, there are 2 more. One is Murong Ying, the other is Jiang Feng. The 2 of them? Yes, it's them. Among the 2, Murong Ying is the strongest, the most talented, and the first to catch my eye. But I didn't choose her because she's a member of Murong family and has always carried the responsibility of Murong family. She can't let go of Murong family, so she can't be the sword of the state. I can't let go of my escort agency either. An escort agency is different from a family clan, Wang Luo said without turning her head. Murong Ying can't let go of Murong's family for even a minute. What about you? Didn't you just let your subordinates take care of the escort agency? Of this, I'm training them well. Li Fan laughed dryly. What about the other one? How is Jiang Feng? Jiang Feng. Actually, I think more highly of him. Wang Luo sighed with emotion. Don't think that you're stronger than him. He actually has more potential than you, and he has more perseverance and tenacity. It's a pity that I don't have much time to train him. Can't you teach him the Shang Feng sword first? Hearing Wang Luo praise his mortal enemy, Li Fan felt slightly displeased in his heart. But even though he was unhappy, Li Fan couldn't say anything else. Of course not. Wang Luo served 2 servings of egg fried rice. He has his own goal in his heart, and for this goal, he will do anything. If I teach him the Shang Feng sword, after I die, he will abuse the power of the Shang Feng sword just to achieve his own goal. Damn, why is it egg fried rice again? Do you only know how to cook one dish? Nonsense. This is different from yesterday's egg fried rice. Wang Luo emphasized. How is it different? This egg fried rice, I added chopped green onions. Li Fan felt a little powerless to complain. How is this different? In Buddhism, eggs are considered vegetarian, but chopped green onions are meat. Wang Luo chuckled. So, yesterday, I let you eat a vegetarian dish, and today I let you eat a meat dish. Of course it's different. Li Fan was speechless and didn't know how to refute. But to put it bluntly, wasn't it still egg fried rice? All right. It's good enough that you have something to eat. It's better than not having anything to eat, right? All right. Thank you for the breakfast. That's more like it. Learn from me this month. If you can't stand my training method, you can quit anytime. Wang Luo reminded Li Fan, but Li Fan smiled. There's nothing I can't endure. Is that so? Wang Luo revealed a smile, but it made Li Fan tremble in fear. This old man, what is he thinking? It's about time. After Li Fan finished a set of 7 hero fist, Wang Luo looked at the clock on the wall. It's about time for us to set off. How do we go to the Vatican? Just like that. As Wang Luo spoke, she opened the door of the washroom. A magician wearing a cloak stumbled in and almost fell. Luckily, Wang Luo supported him. Pierce, you are still so flustered. Wang Luo, you lunatic. After Pierce came in, he looked around nervously and scolded. Now the entire Association of Mages is after you, and you still dare to ask for my help. Oh, my dear Pierce, you are the president of the Association of Mages. Can't you just remove the warrant? You are crazy. Only this won't do. Pierce was so angry that he vomited blood. If I didn't owe you a favor, I would never help you. My dear Pierce, you don't lose anything by helping me this time. We can leave London peacefully, and you won't have any casualties, right? You shameless bastard. Pierce angrily scolded Wang Luo. Get out of London. I don't want to see you again. As he spoke, he stretched out his hand and pulled the washroom door again. The world behind the door changed under the effect of his magic. Li Fan, let's go. Thank you. Pierce, we don't know each other anymore. Wang Luo picked up the Shang Fang sword and went through the washroom door first. Let's go. Pierce glanced at Li Fan and urged, the next time we meet, I will personally catch you and bring you back. All right, let's meet again if there's a chance. Li Fan winked at the president of the Association of Mages and then followed through the washroom door. After entering, in a blink of an eye, Li Fan came to another room. This room was decorated in a typical European style. There were white European-style tables and chairs, and in the middle, there was a big round bed. A bald man was lying on the bed with two girls in his arms. Their skin color was different, one black and one white, a rich variety. Damn fatty, wake up! Wang Luo kicked the bed, causing the three people on the bed to fall off. Fuck! The fatty on the bed fell down, and his butt hurt as he couldn't help but curse. Hey, fatty, we meet again. Did you miss me? Wang Luo squatted on the floor and smiled at the fatty who was cursing. The fatty looked at Wang Luo and was dumbfounded. Chapter 1052. Why is it you? When the fatty saw Wang Luo, he quickly got up and put on his pants. The two girls were bored to death. They got up and pestered the fatty, seemingly wanting to have sex. However, fatty kicked the two of them away and pulled out a book from the bookshelf next to him. The bookshelf slowly slid to the side, revealing a secret door, allowing the two girls to walk out from this door. Motherfucker, why didn't you tell me you were coming? Are you trying to ambush me? This fatty had white skin and blue eyes. He was obviously a foreigner, but his mouth spoke fluent Chinese. I don't need to tell you that I'm here. Wang Luo casually sat on the table next to him, smiling as she looked at the man who was busy putting on his clothes. The fatty put on a gorgeous pope robe, then put on a crown, then glared at Wang Luo. Wang Luo, you're a devil. Whoever you've helped will be unlucky. The fatty cursed angrily. This isn't just helping you. Wang Luo took out a holy sword, playing with it in her hand. If I didn't help you, you wouldn't be able to become the pope. Yes, you Wang Luo are amazing. I'm deeply grateful, okay? The fatty couldn't be arrogant in front of Wang Luo. He walked to the window and looked outside. You actually dared to bring this person here. Do you know that the British Magic Association has already issued a kill order for him? What? Do you lack the Magic Association's money? Wang Luo raised her eyebrows and asked. Of course not. Tell me first, why did you bring him here? The fatty adjusted his attitude. Very quickly, he became very serious, looked at Li Fan, and asked, my dear Chinese friend, it's not safe for you to be here. What? You can't even protect one person in your territory. Wang Luo looked at the Pope mockingly. No, of course I can, but there's still time. The Pope took off the crown and put on his wig. There are a lot of eyes here. They're staring at me, making me feel very restrained. I really don't see how you're restrained. Wang Luo pouted. Li Fan also wanted to complain, but it was his first time meeting the Pope, so he held it in. You can't just look at some things on the surface, my dear friend. The Pope opened another secret door and invited Li Fan and the others to enter. Li Fan and Wang Luo walked in and found that there was a secret church built inside. This is the place where I hear God's will. The Pope looked at the magnificent secret church and felt a burst of pride. Only in the Church of God would such a magnificent secret cathedral be built. This is the power of a God. It's the power of faith. Wang Luo complained. Li Fan admired the beautiful and magnificent cathedral, and his heart was filled with emotion. The church was surrounded by 12 angels, each of which was 10 meters tall, representing a character from the Bible. And Jesus was hanging on the cross, right in front of the church. At the same time, there was a beautiful oil painting at the top of the church, which seemed to be telling a story from the Bible. These amazing facilities undoubtedly impacted Li Fan's heart. This was not the work of a god, it belonged to humans. Only human beings could create such great art. Speak. Why did you bring him here, my dear friend? Naturally, I brought him here for you to train him, my dear holiness. Wang Luo's words caused the Pope to ponder. He sized up Li Fan, seemingly thinking about something. The Pope's gaze caused Li Fan's chrysanthemum to clench, and he subconsciously gathered his true chi, bringing along hostility. He looks quite handsome, but compared to my boy toy, he is still lacking a lot. Scram. Wang Luo kicked the fatty's butt. Who is here for your heavy taste? I brought him here for spiritual power training. Why me? The Pope was a little doubtful. Wouldn't it be better for you to do this yourself? Me? If I were to do it, he would directly have a mental breakdown. Wang Luo immediately rejected the Pope's suggestion. I still have to let you do it. Are you saying that I am inferior to you? The Pope was a little unhappy. No, my dear Holiness, you misunderstood. It is not that you are weaker than me. Before the Pope could calm down, Wang Luo followed up with another sentence. It is that I am stronger than you. Fuck. You are fucking right. The Pope returned to his ruffian appearance. I can't deal with you, but I can deal with this kid. At that time, I will let him have a good time. That is your own business, just don't kill him. The conversation between the two made Li Fan depressed. Listening to their words made him feel weird. Then let's begin. The Pope seemed to know that Wang Luo and Li Fan's time was limited. He walked to the front of the cross, extended his scepter, and pointed at Li Fan. Come in front of me, I will train you. Wang Luo's face was indeed very big. This Vatican Pope also wanted to help him train him. Li Fan was also unwilling to waste time, and directly walked in front of the Pope. If you can't stand it, remember to tell me. The Pope smiled at Li Fan, but I will not stop. With that, the Pope's eyes suddenly emitted a white light. Li Fan's body trembled. He felt that, at that moment, he seemed to have lost himself. Immediately, Li Fan found himself tied to a cross, and it was upside down. Below his body was a blazing flame, burning his body. The pain of the flames burning his body caused Li Fan to scream again and again. At the same time, many crows flew down from above and began to tear the flesh on Li Fan's body. This burning and dismembering pain caused Li Fan to scream uncontrollably. Li Fan was in extreme pain. He knew that this was just an illusion, but it was precisely this illusion that made him unable to bear it. Because every pain was real, a person's pain was originally a reaction from the brain to the nerves. It was a kind of danger signal. The Pope's mental power directly acted on Li Fan's brain, giving Li Fan a terrifying danger signal. In this fiery red sky, a human face appeared. It was the Pope's fat face. If you can't bear it, you can beg for mercy. The Pope laughed. I love to hear people beg for mercy the most. Humph. Li Fan even held back his screams. This is considered a motherfucker. Put in more effort. Interesting. The Pope's huge face appeared in the sky. I want to see how long you can last in my heart-piercing hell. Then let's give it a try. Li Fan was enduring enormous pain, but he clenched his teeth, silently enduring this pain. In this place, Li Fan's true chi was useless. No energy could be used. The only thing he could use was his brain and willpower. Chapter 1053. Li Fan felt like a year had passed. He fainted a few times from a pain, but his brain was woken up by the Pope, and he had to endure this unbearable pain again. But the Pope's face appeared again, and told Li Fan that only an hour had passed. Others might live a day like a year, but for Li Fan, hours were like years. This kind of pain, not to mention an hour, even a second would make a person collapse. But Li Fan endured it, and whether it was the Pope or Wang Luo, none of them had the intention to let Li Fan rest, and kept torturing him. In such an environment, Li Fan continued to endure the torture. The human brain had a protective mechanism. If a normal person had to endure this kind of pain, they would definitely faint. But the Pope forced Li Fan's mind to stay awake, to experience the pain that penetrated deep into his bones. And the punishment mechanism was changed almost every day. When Li Fan got used to a certain kind of pain, the Pope would change to a new kind of torture method to make him fall into hell again. It was like the 18 levels of hell, 18 kinds of torture, to let Li Fan experience one by one. Li Fan's pain couldn't stop, and he slowly understood. If he didn't want to feel pain, he had to learn to resist this pain signal that came from the outside. At the same time, The pain could also amplify Li Fan's brainwaves. It's been almost a month, he still can't do it. The Pope looked at Li Fan, who was lying on the ground, with a face full of stubble, and shook his head at Wang Luo, who was sitting next to him. It's been so many days, and he still can't grasp the technique of mental power. This is the bottleneck of a martial fighter. Wang Luo couldn't help but sigh. He put all of his focus on training his vital energy and physique. So, even though he's accomplished in martial arts, he can't feel the power of mental power. If he continues to train, he might die. The Pope asked cautiously, "Why don't we give up? Hold on for another 2 days. If he really can't do it, we can only give up on him." Wang Luo said, "The mental power of the Shangfang sword must be strong. It must not be controlled by others." It was really difficult for a martial fighter to learn mental power. Even his master's spiritual power was very weak, and he only understood a little. Only when it came to Wang Luo's generation, because he was a person who had been transformed, especially after walking the line between life and death. His mental power was abnormally strong. "Then I'll try again. You should be mentally prepared. He might turn into a lunatic at any time." After being tortured for so long, the Pope did not believe that the young man could still be normal. He once again entered Li Fan's spiritual world to look at this pitiful person who had been suffering. Day after day. "How is this pain?" 2 days later, the Pope's big face once again appeared in front of Li Fan. "Even Wang Luo is about to give up on you. You're too disappointing. He plans to leave this place today, and you will die here. I will use your corpse to claim the reward." Although I didn't care about money, the Magic Association's asking price this time was a bit high. After all, I'm not a god, and my heart will be moved. "Really?" After a few days, faced with the Pope's provocation, Li Fan spoke again. "You can still talk to me? Looks like I've underestimated you. But this is also a kind of final radiance of the setting sun. A normal person would have gone crazy after being tortured by me like this. Indeed, I'm going crazy, but there's always someone beside my ear telling me to stay rational and not lose." "Who told you that? Don't you see him? He's been sitting here the whole time." Mr. Yang sat on a pillar at the side, holding a cane in his hand, dressed like a standard gentleman. If he was also wearing a tuxedo, he would almost be the same as those mages from the Magic Association. Who is he? Seeing this figure, the Pope was shocked. He actually did not feel another person's mental power? How is this possible? "I'm in charge of fighting. He's in charge of providing me with mental power." As Li Fan spoke, he ordered Mr. Yang, "Do me a favor and drag him in." "Yes, my friend." Mr. Yang bowed to Li Fan and then pulled with both of his hands. The Pope couldn't control his own mental power, and his consciousness was directly pulled into his brain by Li Fan. The moment the Pope entered, the terrible hell also disappeared, and a clean lake appeared in front of him. Li Fan quietly stood in the middle of the lake, both of his feet stepping on the surface of the lake, and Mr. Yang stood beside him. "Do you see, this is my world." Li Fan pointed around. "This is the visualization world of every martial artist. There used to be 2 terrible strong people here, but now they're gone, completely absorbed by me." As he said, he waved his hand, and the surrounding scene quickly changed. In the blink of an eye, it turned into the secret church that the Pope secretly built. "You see, this is your favorite place, a beautiful cathedral." Beside Li Fan were a few Tiger Gate cannons. But if there are 2 rounds of cannons, I don't know if it can still maintain this beautiful appearance. You can't hurt them. They are the will of God, and also the great cultural heritage of mankind. You can't stand it already? Your mental defense is too weak." Li Fan waved his hand, and the church cracked. The Pope clenched his teeth, but he endured it. A door was smashed, and Wang Luo walked into Li Fan's mind. "Li Fan, what are you doing?" Wang Luo saw the Pope was imprisoned in Li Fan's world, and quickly used his mental power to run in to take a look. "You're here?" Wang Luo did help Li Fan a lot, and Li Fan was very grateful to him. But now, Li Fan felt an even more terrible power. The sea around him was blue, and there seemed to be a ship sailing in the distance, as if it was on some ocean. Li Fan pointed at a green island in front. "That is Demon Island, the birthplace of the demon." Wang Luo also knew that place, but he had never been there. Because Demon Island was a mysterious place. No one knew where it was, and everyone wanted to go there. Yes, I can feel it, a terrible crisis. Leaf Fan pointed at Demon Island, and his face was gloomy. Mr. Yang told me that there is a terrible existence on the island, and it seems to be awakening. But I don't know where he is, and he is hiding very well. I'm afraid you have to solve the matter of Demon Island by yourself. Wang Luo shrugged his shoulders. There is only one thing I can help you with now. What is it? You have taken an unconventional path, and your mental power has reached a certain level. Wang Luo glanced at Mr. Yang, who was tortured to become stronger. So, I will bring you back to China to help you kill a person you have always wanted to kill. You want me to owe you a favor? Chapter 1054. Li Fan doesn't understand Wang Luo's intention, but he still followed this person back to China. No matter what, Wang Luo has been helping him all this while. There is no doubt about this. Li Fan followed Wang Luo and set off from Phoenix King's Yellow Springs Road all the way to Yungue region. This place belongs to the Golden Triangle, the world of drug dealers. Even the devil incarnate, Wang Tofu, is unable to set up his own smuggling route in this place. This area is filled with all sorts of gangs, and there are also many countries and organizations supporting them. It is not that easy to conquer the Golden Triangle. In this chaotic, dark area, Wang Luo and Li Fan sit in a jeep and travel through the forest. Who are we going to meet? After sitting in the car for a long time, Li Fan still can't help but ask. Young people really don't have any patience. The current Wang Luo has aged a lot and looks like an old man with one foot in the grave. He curls up into a ball at the back of the jeep as if he is in deep sleep, but because of his mental power, he is able to stay awake. You follow me. Do you think I will sell you out? I'm just a bit bored, so I asked. Li Fan mutters. Bro, who are you talking to? The driver smokes as he drives. Suddenly hearing Li Fan talking to himself, he can't help but ask. Li Fan doesn't know how to explain. It seems like Wang Luo doesn't even have the strength to speak and is using his mental power to talk to Li Fan. Not far from here is the Dragon King Temple. The driver feels a bit awkward as he points to the bushes in front and says, it has been abandoned for many years, but occasionally there will still be people going in to pay their respects. After all, we used to believe in the Dragon King and believe that the Dragon King will bless everyone with a smooth journey. After all, there are quite a lot of people running around here, you know? The driver is very straightforward, so Li Fan knows what he is referring to. Just stop in front. Hearing Wang Luo's reminder, Li Fan opens his mouth to tell the driver, Brother, there's a group of vicious people here. You have to be careful. To be honest, if you don't ask me to stop, I wouldn't dare to move forward. Ha, let's meet again. The driver instructed Li Fan and then left both of them on the side of the road. Do you want me to carry you? Li Fan couldn't help but ask as he looked at Wang Luo, who was wobbling as she walked and almost had to use a walking stick to move forward. I'm not that old yet. Wang Luo rolled his eyes at Li Fan. Save some of your strength, or else you won't be able to escape later. Escape? Of course. This time, we're going to meet a very scary guy. Wang Luo reminded Li Fan. This time, it's a huge gamble. I hope I can win. Gambling? Li Fan didn't know who Wang Luo wanted to see, but since he was already here, he would follow him to the end. Wang Luo, this person, always schemed very deeply. No one knew what he was thinking about all day. This old guy is simply an old fox. Just as Li Fan was thinking, Wang Luo's eyes lit up. A huge rock suddenly flew up and headed towards Li Fan. Li Fan didn't even raise his head. Mr. Yang, who was standing beside him, extended his hand and used his spiritual power to control this huge rock. The huge rock stopped a meter away from Li Fan. Li Fan waved his hand and used his true chi to crush the rock. No need to test me, Li Fan said. I didn't train for this month for nothing. That's good. Wang Luo was secretly surprised. To actually use another spiritual body as a part of his strength to protect himself, this is really scary. Sure enough, choosing Li Fan was the right choice, but it was also very risky. Would he be able to win this gamble or not? Wang Luo brought Li Fan and walked towards the dilapidated Dragon King Temple. However, just as they got closer, Wang Luo suddenly stopped and took a step back. A bullet landed in front of his feet, and at the same time, a warning voice flew out. "Step back. This is not a place you should be." A row of people stood up from the grass. Each of them was armed with loaded guns. They seemed to be a group of drug dealers. "I'm sorry, everyone," Li Fan said. "I have something to do. Can you let me pass?" "Bullshit. Don't you understand what I'm saying?" A man who was smoking heard Li Fan's words and immediately became angry. "It seems like you don't want to live anymore. Kill them." In this place, killing people is just a daily occurrence. Two drug dealers raised their pistols and aimed at Li Fan. Li Fan waved his hand, and the two of them immediately aimed their pistols at their companions. "What are you doing? Stop!" Before the smoking brother could react, his two underlings had already shot many of his companions, leaving him alone. The two of them pointed their pistols at his head at the same time. This made the drug dealer, who was used to big scenes, feel a little scared. Who are these two people? He couldn't understand. Could they be from another gang? Why haven't I seen them before? And these two underlings of his had climbed out of a storm of bullets together. They were friends who had gone through life and death together. When did they become traitors? "Forget it, Li Fan. Let him live." Wang Luo finally spoke. "Just let him scram a little further away. We are here to find that person." That person? The cigarette in the brother's mouth fell to the ground. He hurriedly begged for mercy. Sirs, I had eyes but failed to recognize Mount Tai. I offended the wrong person. Please let the three of us go." Scram. Li Fan couldn't be bothered to kill them. He waved his hand, and the remaining three drug dealers ran away. "Let's go in." Wang Luo walked to the entrance of the Dragon King Temple. This old temple door creaked open by itself. Immediately, a fishy and damp smell came out from inside. Li Fan followed and walked in. He realized that the Dragon King Temple was already broken beyond recognition. The head of the Dragon King statue that was placed in front had already fallen off. Only half of the body was still standing there. It was unknown if it could still shelter this area from the wind and rain. After Wang Luo walked in, a figure appeared beside the Dragon King statue out of nowhere and bowed to Wang Luo. "I didn't know that sirs had arrived. Please forgive me for not going out to welcome you. Let's not talk nonsense. Bring me to see that sirs." Wang Luo's words made Li Fan suddenly understand. "Wait." He grabbed Wang Luo's collar and asked, "You brought me to see Sirs Liao? Oh, so you know him." Wang Luo laughed. "It was Wang Jian who told you, right? He really has a big mouth. Why did you bring me to see him?" Li Fan asked. Chapter 1055. I did not bring you here to see him. I brought you here to kill him. Wang Luo communicated with Li Fan using his spiritual power, not caring if others heard it. "This person is still alive. Sooner or later he will come and kill you. So you must kill him. Wang Luo is very ruthless, so this matter must be resolved. Is that person very strong? Why are you not willing to mention his name?" "Because I also do not know what his name is." Wang Luo shrugs his shoulders. "Everyone calls him that, Lord. The reason why I know his surname is Liao is because he has a daughter with the surname Liao outside." "Is he very strong?" "Of course he is." Wang Luo does not hesitate. "After all, in the whole of China, the only person I cannot defeat is him. Since you cannot defeat him, why are you here?" Li Fan looks outside the door. "We can still make it if we leave now. Why are you afraid?" "What is there to be afraid of? But I do not want to fight for no reason." "You do not need to do anything. This is my matter. I will deal with it myself." Wang Luo tells Li Fan, "In the past, I had to leave some leeway, but today I can risk my life." Li Fan looks at Wang Luo's aging body, not knowing how much more he can risk his life. But no matter what, since he is already at this Lord Liao's place, he might as well take a look. He is also very curious about this so-called Lord Liao. "Just follow me closely." Wang Luo follows that Lord Liao subordinate and opens the secret passage. The Dragon King statue slowly moves, revealing a big hole below. Li Fan follows Wang Luo, takes a torch from a wall, and holds it in his hand. Without this torch, Li Fan can still see in the night. But Wang Luo cannot. His body is no different from an old man, holding the wall, slowly moving forward in the dim light. In the light, Li Fan feels that Wang Luo's back is getting older, as if he will die at any moment. This old man, can he still hold on until he sees the so-called Lord Liao? This tunnel is very deep, not knowing where it leads to. The three of them walked for more than 10 minutes and finally arrived in front of a majestic underground palace. When Li Fan first saw the secret church, he was shocked. It was truly a magnificent building. However, it paled in comparison to the underground palace in front of him. This underground palace was so majestic that Li Fan thought he was looking at the Forbidden City. This underground palace could not have been built by modern people. After all, it had left traces of history and time on it. It should be an underground tomb that belonged to some emperor in the underworld. No matter who slept here in the past, it had now become a place for someone else. However, shouldn't this kind of place be full of traps? Could it be that they have all been broken by someone? Let's go, this place is very safe. Wang Luo seemed to have seen through Li Fan's speculation and comforted him. Understood. Since it was a place for that person to stay, it should be a more comfortable place. But living in such a palace, did he really think of himself as an emperor? This way, the man continued to lead them through the long path towards a hall in the distance. In this palace, there were many guards dressed in black and red armor. They seemed to be the guards patrolling the city. Li Fan couldn't help but sigh. This man seems to be living like an emperor. I wonder if there are 3,000 beauties in his harem? If there are 3,000, this kind of life is worth looking forward to. Esteemed guests, we're just in front. The man leading the way extended his hand, and in front of them was the majestic hall. In ancient times, this place should belong to the Hall of Proclamation, a place for officials to attend court. Li Fan and Wang Luo walked in. The moment they entered, there was a long path in front of them. Every piece of the ground was paved with jade. It was luxurious. In front of them was a flight of steps that the 9 dragons climbed up. At the top was a golden dragon throne. A man with disheveled hair and a skinny body sat on the dragon throne. His skeleton-like hands rested on the dragon head armrest. This person's hair was white, and he seemed to be no different from Wang Luo. He was also a person with half a foot in the ground. After the man led them in, he knelt down in front of the old man on the dragon throne. Your Majesty, they are here. And the man snorted. This person who was addressed as Your Majesty should be Liao Wushuang's father. How old was he when he gave birth to Liao Wushuang? Why is he so old when Liao Wushuang is only 20 years old? This is somewhat incomprehensible. You may leave. The other party didn't even raise his head as he spoke. Yes, Your Majesty. The man retreated, leaving behind Li Fan and Wang Luo. Old friend, it has been over 50 years since we last met. Why do you look so old? Wang Luo greeted him. How much better are you? Lord Liao sneered. Furthermore, we are not friends. I don't need friends. Io, don't be so heartless. Wang Luo slowly pulled out his sword. At least before you die, there will be a friend to mourn you. Who did you bring over? Because under Wang Luo's request, Li Fan had used alien bone swap to change his figure and appearance. Lord Liao did not recognize him. Is it your successor? The next generation's sword? The other party did not seem to take Wang Luo's threat to heart. That's right. Before I leave, I have to do something good for China. Wang Luo said, getting rid of you should be considered a great merit. I will not die. The other party said slowly. His voice was filled with power. As long as I obtain Li Fan, I will become the strongest person. Li Fan did not say anything by the side. When he heard this, his attention was aroused. Obtain me? What does this mean? Was this old man also a psychopath? Does he want something to happen between us? Li Fan subconsciously raised his true qi and stared at the old man on the dragon throne with vigilance. Friend, you're dreaming. It is a pity that I can't let you have your wish. Wang Luo held his sword. If I let you out, I'm afraid the entire China will never have a day of peace. Today, I will kill you here. 50 years ago, you lost to me. 50 years later, you are still not my opponent." Emperor Liao sneered. "Since you are rushing to die, for the sake of our past relationship, I will personally send you to die. Why are you in such a hurry?" Wang Luo sat down on the jade floor. "Since I'm going to die anyway, why don't we talk about your story?" "You want to hear my story?" Emperor Liao laughed. "That's fine. Anyway, you can't escape from my palm." Chapter 1056. You want to hear my story? The Liao Emperor looks at Wang Luo, who is sitting in front of him, and his masked disciple, who is standing beside him. He does not seem to place the two of them in his eyes. Never mind. Although this underground palace is big, there are very few people that I can chat with. Since you guys are going to die soon, I will be magnanimous and let you guys be ghosts that understand everything before you go on your way. Thank you very much. Seems like this is Wang Luo's goal as he asks, "How about we start with your name?" There is no harm in telling you guys. My surname is Liao, and my name is Ju. I am the descendant of the Liao Emperor. This world originally belongs to me. The reason why I practice martial arts is to first unify the pugilistic world, then China, and revive the imperial power of my great Liao. What should we do now? It is already a modern society where we talk about race and human rights. We do not care about the emperor at all. What modern society? What race? What human rights? Liao Ju sneers. It is simply a group of ignorant people messing around. Although I do not go to the surface, I know what kind of world it is now. Chaos, darkness, about to usher in a terrifying destruction. Could it be that unifying China and becoming the emperor can save all of this? Of course. Liao Ju confirms this without hesitation. I'm the strongest emperor. In order to become even more powerful, I even abandon my own family. Supreme forgetfulness. This is the highest realm of martial arts. An emperor that does not recognize even his own family. To be honest, if such a person were to rule me, I would definitely not be able to take it. Wang Luo curls his lips. That is why I said you guys are just ignorant people. Liao Ju sneers. You people will never understand the power of King. Speaking of which, a few days ago, I met a person who thought that he was a god. He was the same as you, extremely arrogant, but I killed it with my own hands. You are talking about the demon from Demon Island? Liao Ju's words shocked Li Fan. How did this guy know about this from staying in the underground palace? Looks like his source of information is also very powerful. Li Fan cannot help but look at this emperor who is sitting on the dragon throne with his head lowered. What ability does he have? No matter how ambitious you are, I'm afraid you won't be able to live for long with such a body, right? Wang Luo continued to ask, could it be for the sake of your daughter's empire? I don't have a daughter like that. She doesn't look like a princess of the great Liao kingdom. Liao Ju sneered. There was no affection in his voice at all. She doesn't deserve to inherit my family business. My empire must be guarded by myself. Then your body, this is why I need Li Fan. He has the aberration bone transformation technique, and he also has a portion of great Liao's bloodline. Li Fan was stunned. Did he have some Liao blood in him? How were they supposed to study this thing? This country had long been destroyed, so where would they go to study bloodlines? You're really good at finding. Could it be that you've already researched soul transfer? The soul is just a form of mental energy. As a martial arts master, Liao Ju had some understanding of mind power. Not long ago, I caught a mutant and discovered the concept of spiritual power from him. You really did it? Wang Luo couldn't help but ask. Of course. I buried myself in a grave for 3 days and 3 nights. Finally, I broke through the realm of mental energy. Liao Ju said proudly, although my body is no longer good, as long as I find a suitable body and use some methods, I can transfer my mental energy to it. In our words, it's called possession. As long as I continue to transfer my mental energy, I will be immortal. Even Imperial concubine Zhou couldn't do this. Looking at Liao Ju's crazy smile, Li Fan finally understood why Wang Luo risked his life to bring him here. The reason why he brought him here was to understand the truth of the matter together. If he were to ask himself, he probably wouldn't be able to tell Li Fan the truth of the matter and the most terrifying enemy. All right, that's enough. You guys should be on your way, Liao Ju said arrogantly. It's your honor that I will personally send you guys on your way. That's enough. Wang Luo nodded his head and slowly stood up. If that's the case, it's my honor to be able to fight with the martial arts emperor in my last moments. Oh, you want to fight with me with such a crippled body? Liao Ju laughed. Even in this state, I can still easily destroy you. With that, Liao Ju raised his hand and slapped across the air. Rumble. The wind from the palm brushed past Wang Luo's body and blew onto the wall outside, causing the nine-dragon wall to collapse. Wang Luo stood slightly to the right as he held the Shang Fong sword in his hand with a smile on his face. Liao Ju, you are indeed powerful. Your power has even surpassed that of a grandmaster, hasn't it? I have the power of 100 dragons. I am a legendary sage expert. Liao Ju's words made Li Fan feel despair. It wasn't easy for him to step into the realm of a grandmaster, but above his head, there was actually a legendary martial saint. That's right, that's right. A sage is so scary. Wang Luo nodded his head. But with this body, you can only use 80% of your strength, right? Maybe even lower. How about 50%? Heh, it's 60%. Liao Ju told him straightforwardly. Even 60% is enough to kill you all easily. Some things, if you don't try, how will you know? Wang Luo seemed to have suddenly regained his strength. He threw away his walking stick and slowly walked towards Liao Ju with his Shang Fong sword. With every step he took, he seemed to be a year younger. When he walked in front of Liao Ju, Wang Luo had already stood up straight. His hair had also returned to black, as if he had turned back into a 20-year-old youth. Come, Emperor of Wulin, fight with my Shang Fong sword. Wang Luo's voice was bright, and he didn't look old at all. Li Fan was a little surprised. Is Wang Luo all right? Was he pretending to be old all along? That's not right. Li Fan could feel that Wang Luo was really weak just a while ago. He was probably having a terminal lucidity and had completely overdrawn his last bit of life force to use at this moment. Young man, watch carefully how I fight with Liao Ju. As Wang Luo spoke, he leaped towards Liao Ju, courting death. When Liao Ju saw that Wang Luo still dared to provoke him, he raised his palm and slapped towards Wang Luo. Wang Luo raised his Shang Fong sword and placed it in front of him. He also used his mental power to protect his body, but his body was still sent flying more than 10 meters away. Both of his feet kept sliding on the ground. Finally, he hit a pillar and stabilized his body. Chapter 1057. Wang Luo's physical body was so strong that even Li Fan could not hurt him. But after taking Liao Ju's palm, he vomited blood. As expected of the martial arts emperor, the power of that palm is indeed strong. Wang Luo wiped the corner of his mouth. But I have the life of a cockroach. I will not die so easily. With that, Wang Luo carried the Shang Fong sword and descended from the pillar. With a flick of his feet, he suddenly disappeared and quickly approached Liao Ju. The sword in his hand kept stabbing towards Liao Ju. But Liao Ju just sat there. With just a finger, he kept blocking Wang Luo's sword attacks. In front of Liao Ju, it was as if an expert like Wang Luo was just a child who was being played around by Liao Ju. No matter how hard Wang Luo tried, he was unable to break through Liao Ju's defense. No, you are too weak. Liao Ju sneered. Your strength seems to have not improved compared to 50 years ago. That might not be the case. Wang Luo suddenly took a few steps back and then raised his Shang Fong sword. This Shang Fong sword was forged by 49 necromancers back then. I have heard of some rumors about this Shang Fong sword. Liao Ju sneered. But what can an ancient sword do? With just a bit of mental power, you can connect with this sword. Wang Luo said. The sword has the mark of the inheritors. Do you want to see it? I don't like people who talk big. Liao Ju stretched out a finger and pointed at Wang Luo. You can die now. A stream of vital energy exploded from his finger. In an instant, A bloody hole the width of a finger appeared on Wang Luo's chest, who was more than 10 meters away. Wang Luo vomited another mouthful of blood. He stabilized his legs and stood there. In my name, I will guard China. Kill the gods above, kill the ghosts below. Wang Luo stabbed the Shang Feng sword into his abdomen. Return sword. Without waiting for Li Fan to be shocked, a golden light enveloped Wang Luo's body. It was as if a small sun had appeared in the underground palace. In an instant, Li Fan and Liao Ju's eyes went black. When the golden light dissipated, Wang Luo was standing there with a head of golden hair. He wore a black and gold coat and held the Shang Feng sword in his hand. The appearance of a Shang Feng sword had also changed. It was originally 3 feet long, but now it was close to 2 meters. Wang Luo dragged it on the ground. After so many years, this is the first time I've used the returning sword state. Wang Luo said proudly. This is probably the last time I make a grand entrance. Liao Ju, let's have a second round. With that, Wang Luo instantly appeared in front of Liao Ju and slashed down with the golden longsword in her hand. Liao Ju immediately tried to block it, but Wang Luo's sword was even faster. It pierced Liao Ju's glabella. Liao Ju immediately stretched out his other hand and grabbed the sword with his palm. Your Majesty, you can't either. After using sword return, Wang Luo's strength seemed to have increased tremendously. His battle with Liao Ju had also become much easier. There were several times when he managed to break through Liao Ju's defense and slashed his body with his long sword. Although Liao Ju's body had aged, his true qi was still covering his body like a coat, protecting his body. Wang Luo slashed a few times, but only managed to injure Liao Ju's flesh. The two of them were currently at an abnormal level. Even a grandmaster like Li Fan wouldn't dare to rashly intervene. Otherwise, he would be the one who would be in a miserable state. He understood the reason why Wang Luo called him over. It was to let him watch all of this, to see Liao Ju's moves, to familiarize himself with his battle techniques, and then understand his terrifying strength. In case he suddenly met Liao Ju in the future and died without knowing why. After Li Fan thought it through, he continued to watch the two of them fight seriously. After fighting for a while, the difference in strength between the two of them started to appear. Wang Luo's returning sword still had a time limit. In addition, his body's condition was getting worse and worse. He was slowly falling into a disadvantageous position. Monarch Fist. Liao Ju seemed to have grasped the opportunity. He sat there and punched Wang Luo. The terrifying fist aura seemed to have compressed the entire space. The entire underground palace started to tremble. With a rumble, the palace at the back was flattened by the terrifying fist aura. Wang Luo fell onto the ground in a sorry state. His body was full of injuries and his black and gold coat was torn. Kid, the rest is up to you. Liao Ju's fist aura could destroy the world. This was his ultimate technique. Let's leave this place. Wang Luo threw the sword to Li Fan. As long as this sword is still here, the Shang Feng sword will still protect China. Wang Luo's voice moved Li Fan a bit. However, Liao Ju sneered. Do you really think that you can run away? I know that you can't leave this seat now. Wang Luo kept looking at the few tubes that were inserted behind Liao Ju. The tubes were supplying him with nutrients to maintain his body. As long as I stop you, he will be able to survive. With the current you, can you do it? Liao Ju laughed. My fist aura has a range of 1,000 meters. As long as I attack, he will have nowhere to hide. Don't look down on me. Wang Luo stood there. Liao Ju, I can still fight with you for another 300 rounds. You don't even have a sword. How are you going to fight with me? Liao Ju activated his true qi and cracks started to appear on the floor, spreading out like a spider web. Li Fan held the Shang Feng sword as he stood at the entrance of the palace hesitating. Stop hesitating. Hurry up and leave. Wang Luo shouted at Li Fan. Don't let my blood flow for nothing. With that, he pushed his hand at Li Fan. A huge mental power charged at Li Fan and pushed him out. Where are you going? Liao Ju charged at Li Fan and threw out a monarch fist. Even if it was Li Fan, he would not be able to escape 1,000 meters in a split second. But Wang Luo roared as he stretched out both of his hands. The surrounding jade stones kept on exploding as more and more jade stones flew over and gathered in front of Wang Luo. Very quickly, they formed a gigantic jade sword that was 100 meters long. Wang Luo controlled it to hang above Liao Ju's head and slash down. Such a gigantic sword seemed to be able to split the heaven and earth. But Liao Ju just sat there as he changed the direction of his fist and punched above his head. Boom! The gigantic jade sword was smashed into pieces by Liao Ju's monarch fist and scattered around. Wang Luo half knelt in front of Liao Ju as he continuously coughed out blood. He started to age quickly, and his life force was quickly flowing away. Success, Liao Ju. Wang Luo blinked his eyes at Liao Ju. Li Fan, he has already left. He is Li Fan? Liao Ju immediately stood up from his throne and looked at Wang Luo angrily. Damn that Shangfang sword. I will kill you. He is the Shangfang sword. Under Liao Ju's fist, Wang Luo closed his eyes in relief. Chapter 1058. Li Fan held onto the Shangfang sword and quickly escaped from the underground palace. Liao Ju was too powerful now, and he couldn't win with his own strength. There was no need for him to die for nothing. The Shangfang sword in his hand slowly returned to its original state. Li Fan used his qin gong to the extreme. He hoped that Wang Luo could survive. At this moment, a loud roar came from the Hall of Proclamation behind him. The entire underground palace shook again. Li Fan knew that something must have happened to Wang Luo. He could vaguely hear a roar in his ear. It seemed like Wang Luo was talking to him. Live well and become the Shangfang sword. Li Fan, you can't escape. A loud roar echoed in the underground palace. It was Liao Ju's angry roar. Everyone, kill the intruder. This angry roar caused the guards around the underground palace to move. These guards held onto their spears and started attacking Li Fan. Li Fan held onto the Shangfang sword and quickly counterattacked. Although these guards were powerful and had almost reached the peak of strength, they were clearly not Li Fan's match. In order to not waste time, Li Fan summoned the Flying Lion Goddess fusion. He wore the Flying Lion armor and waved the Shangfang sword in an attempt to kill a guard that jumped over. The guard's spear was like a rock spreading its wings. It slashed down towards Li Fan's head. Li Fan wanted to stab the guard's throat, but for some reason, the Shangfang sword was extremely heavy. When Li Fan lifted it, the sword sank and he stabbed the guard's chest instead. The guard was wearing red armor and seemed to have high defense. The sword that could cut through metal like mud in Wang Luo's hands could only create a spark on the guard's chest in Li Fan's hands. Damn it. Li Fan could feel that the Shangfang sword was still resisting him. He carried the Shangfang sword on his back. At the same time, he struck the unprotected throat of the guard with the head of the white crane. The guard clutched his throat and took 2 steps back. Li Fan caught up and threw out a dragon spitting pearl, slapping the guard's abdomen. The rotating energy bead directly tore apart the guard's armor, then pierced through the guard's abdomen and exploded out from his back. Pooh! The guard spat out a mouthful of blood as his body spun and flew out, crashing into the distance. Even more guards were running towards Li Fan. He immediately summoned the Great War God. The Great War God spread out its arms and condensed a powerful true chi in its hands. 7 brilliance, absolute kill, 10 direction, wisdom king. The Great War God waved his arms and a huge wave of true chi rushed out, shattering the space in front of him. The guards were shaken so badly that they fell to the ground, unconscious. Li Fan took the opportunity to quickly escape. His figure left a series of afterimages in the air as he ran towards the entrance of the underground palace. At this time, 2 guards were closing the entrance of the underground palace. This heavy stone door was 30 meters tall and 1 meter thick. It would be very difficult to break it with ordinary attacks. If the door was closed, Li Fan might be trapped in the underground palace. Fortunately, the entrance of the underground palace was heavy. Even with the help of the mechanism, the two guards had to close the door bit by bit. I can only go up. Li Fan jumped and quickly approached the door. But this time, Li Fan suddenly had a bad feeling. He almost subconsciously stepped on the ground to stabilize his body. Chua! A black crescent wave swept down and slashed the ground in front of Li Fan, leaving a deep ravine. A woman wearing a black Imperial Secret Service coat stood there, holding a black long blade in her hand. Seeing her, Li Fan was stunned. Yushi? Why is it you? Li Fan, you shouldn't have come here. Yushi looked a little sad as she looked at Li Fan. A gloomy wind blew in the underground palace, lifting Yushi's coat. Yushi, are you also Liao Ju's man? Li Fan seemed to understand something. Sorry, you are his vessel, so you must live. Yushi revealed her real purpose. And now, you must stay. If I want to leave, no one can stop me. Li Fan was a little hurt, but he quickly calmed down. He did have feelings for Yushi, but this was not the first time he was betrayed by a woman. Liao Wushuang had a precedent, and this time, Li Fan adapted much faster. It seems that I have been childish. Yushi, thank you for teaching me a lesson. As Li Fan spoke, he gathered his true qi, and the golden armor on his body began to shine. No matter what, I must keep you here. This is all for His Majesty. Liao Ju had just ascended to the throne in the underground palace a few days ago. He is the hope of all of us. Yushi swung her black saber. You're no match for me. Li Fan looked at the slowly closing door. He had no time to hesitate. See you next time. With a flash, Li Fan flew toward the door. You can't escape. Yushi suddenly took off her blindfold. Her eyes that should have been blind now shone with a red light. The black radiance covered Yushi's body, as if she was wearing a black coat. Ghost God Slash. Without any hesitation, Yushi unleashed a black energy saber. This astral saber was no longer in the shape of a crescent. Instead, it took the shape of an evil spirit and pounced at Li Fan. True Qi mimicry was slightly weaker than materialization, but it was still not to be underestimated. Sensing danger behind him, Li Fan quickly turned around and saw the huge black evil spirit. Dragon Spitting Pearl. Li Fan turned around and threw out a ball of qi beads towards the evil spirit. The qi ball tore a huge hole in the evil spirit's abdomen. However, the evil spirit was not affected at all. It continued to pounce on Li Fan and pounced on him. Li Fan felt as if thousands of swords had pierced through his body. If not for the protection of the flying lion armor, he would have been torn into pieces. Gold and red sparks kept appearing on the flying lion armor, and Li Fan was also blown away. He flipped in the air and landed on the ground. He spat out a mouthful of blood and steadied himself. Yushi stood there with a black evil spirit behind her, glaring at him. This move was very similar to his great god of war. Materialization of true qi. Li Fan frowned. He could not help but feel shocked when he saw Yushi's red eye. I've known you for so long, but I didn't expect you to be hiding such power. This is the power that His Majesty sealed, because using this power will shorten my lifespan. His Majesty said that if I use it for a long time, I probably won't live past 40. Yushi's words made Li Fan's heart jump. Won't live past 40. There's actually such a terrifying technique. Chapter 1059. Li Fan has been training for a long time, but this is the first time he has heard of this kind of inner force. Then it's better if you don't use it. Li Fan advised. I've already used it once. Yushi smiled calmly. When you don't know. After saying that, Yushi held the black saber and swung it at Li Fan again. The evil spirit behind her also held a huge black saber and slashed towards Li Fan. This black saber was at least 10 meters long. Li Fan hurriedly used an iron bridge and lay back, dodging the saber. Swish! The two dragon pillars behind were directly cut into two pieces and fell to the ground, raising a cloud of dust. The true qi manifestation technique is actually a martial art passed down from ancient times. Yushi held the black saber and walked towards Li Fan step by step. This is called the martial God True Body, which is actually more advanced than the Dragon Hall's qi condensation. Back then, the genius Liu Jinshan wholeheartedly wanted to restore the ancient martial god true body, but unfortunately, he failed and only managed to study the superficial qi condensation. As for you, Li Fan, I didn't expect you to accidentally study the martial god true body. Li Fan thought of his great war god and thought to himself, this is the martial god true body? Unfortunately, it's not mature enough. I'll let you see the real martial god true body. As Yushi spoke, the huge evil spirit behind her slowly became clear and transformed into a ghost warrior condensed from black true qi. The ghost warrior held the black saber and directly used the saber drawing technique to swing it horizontally at Li Fan. Humph! The great war god behind Li Fan popped out again. He was no longer as indistinct as before, but now looked like Li Fan. This great war god was wearing the flying lion armor, holding the holy sword in his left hand and the lion face shield in his right. Facing Yushi's move, the great war god raised the lion face shield and blocked in front of Li Fan. Clang! The lion face shield exploded into a shockwave, and Li Fan was even forced to take a step back from the impact. She's really powerful. Li Fan couldn't help but be surprised by Yushi's strength. Practicing martial arts is like rowing a boat against the current. You should take it step by step. However, Li Fan still couldn't help but remind her, it's not worth it for you to use the power you shouldn't have and shorten your lifespan. That's none of your business. As Yushi spoke, she controlled the ghost warrior to grab the huge black blade with both hands and slash it down towards Li Fan. The black blade descended from the sky, and the great god of war raised his lion face shield to block the attack. Clang! The black saber landed heavily on the lion face shield. The lion face shield was pressed down on the great god of war's head. After she activated the martial god mode. Her strength increased tremendously. She had the strength of at least 15 dragons, which was not inferior to Li Fan's strength. Unless Li Fan used his unparalleled posture and let his true energy explode in his body. Li Fan glanced at the door that was about to close. He no longer had time to hesitate. Yushi, I'm sorry. I can't stay here. As Li Fan spoke, a strong force suddenly erupted from his body. But in that short moment, all of the true energy on Li Fan's body was absorbed into his body. All the pores on his body closed, and in that instant, the great god of war disappeared as well. After all, the great god of war was formed from true energy. Once the pores were closed and the true energy was not allowed to flow out, the great god of war would naturally not be able to condense. If you don't use the martial god, how are you going to fight against me? Yushi controlled the ghost warrior to swing her long blade horizontally towards Li Fan. The black blade had already arrived in front of Li Fan. As for Li Fan, his skin was scarlet red, and a circle of true energy condensed into a light wheel appeared behind him. He stretched out a hand and pinched the black saber. Clang! With a crisp sound, the black blade was blocked and stopped there, unable to hurt Li Fan. Goodbye, Yushi. Li Fan waved his hand and cut off his sleeve. From today onwards, you and I are no longer friends. Yushi saw the look in Li Fan's eyes. It was a kind of cold look. For some reason, Yushi's heart fiercely jumped. Goodbye. Li Fan took a step back, leaving an afterimage behind. He instantly left the underground palace and escaped through the small gap left by the door. Where's Li Fan? Liao Ju's voice transmission sounded in Yushi's ears. She sighed, retracted her martial god true body, put on a blindfold, and used her qing gong to return to the announcement hall and knelt in front of Liao Ju. Your Majesty, please forgive me. Forget it. Liao Ju forgave Yushi. Anyway, it's not time yet. There's no harm in training him a little more. But Your Majesty, he already knows about us. Will it be detrimental to the plan? My plan is foolproof. Liao Ju was full of confidence. Are you doubting my judgment, Yushi? I don't dare. Yushi hurriedly lowered her head and apologized. Just continue with what you're doing. Liao Ju ordered. As for Li Fan, you don't have to worry about him. Yes, Your Majesty. Yushi stood up and left, while Liao Ju sat on the dragon throne, stepping on ahead. Wang Luo, is this the path you chose? He let out a cold laugh. Unfortunately, no matter what method you use, you won't be able to stop my resurrection. Really, Liao Ju? At this moment, Wang Luo's head suddenly opened its eyes and spoke. Mental energy? Liao Ju was not surprised and immediately understood. Interesting, you really like to surprise me. However, this little bit of mental energy will dissipate soon. Before I die, I still have some use for it. Wang Luo was only left with a head, but he was still laughing. As long as that Bradley fan continues to grow, he will defeat you sooner or later. Stupid. You are too arrogant. Endless nightmare. Wang Luo's head suddenly jumped up, and his eyes met Liao Ju's gaze. He used the last bit of his life force to hypnotize Liao Ju. Liao Ju saw that the surrounding was filled with evil spirits walking towards him and pulling his body with all their might, as if they wanted to drag him into hell. It's just a little bit of mental energy, yet you still want to cause trouble. Liao Ju sneered. Since that's the case, I shall play with you. He closed his eyes and endured the nightmare that Wang Luo brought him. At this moment, Li Fan had already escaped outside. He used his Qigong all the way back to Ji University without stopping to rest. By the time he returned, the sky was already dark and the dormitory doors were all closed. Li Fan couldn't jump back through the window, so he could only wander around the field of Ji University. Liao Ju, this brat's strength is too terrifying. How am I going to deal with a martial sage expert? He looked at the Shang Fong sword in his hand and felt that he should make use of this sword. Wang Luo's return sword had stunned Li Fan. A person who only had mental energy and only a sword was able to contend against Liao Ju. This was truly amazing. However, what he should be thinking about now should be where he should go to sleep. Li Fan didn't bring a single cent with him, so he couldn't go to a hotel to sleep. Just as he was worrying, a familiar girl's voice came from behind him. Junior, why are you here? That you're tuning in to the Romance Rendezvous YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.